How is your fundraiser going this year? If it's anything less than amazing, it's time to talk to Shawn Murphy at FanPledge. No product to sell, nothing to deliver, and guaranteed results. Raise at least 10% more than your current donation based fundraiser, or it's free. Fun, fast, proven. Call Shawn at 903-948-7348. FanPledge. The champions are already on board. Are you? Band Yap is proudly sponsored by Troubadour Consultants. When it comes to planning group travel for your fine arts program, look no further than Troubadour Consultants. Whether you're organizing a major out of state trip or need top notch accommodations for the state marching contest, John Mize and his team are ready to create a custom travel experience that meets your band's unique needs. As a family owned, band director run company, Troubadour understands exactly what it takes to make your trip stress free and seamless. Plus, when you book a trip with Troubadour, they will sponsor a $500 college scholarship for a student in your band. Directors who book will also receive a free Mollard baton as a special thank you. Visit troubadourconsultants.com today to start planning your next trip with the experts who truly get it.
It's like
Candy
drinking
shell.
water from a can.
Do not equate Reese's Pieces to water from a can.
That's
Like,
what
what
I
do you-
feel.
What plane of existence do you live
That's
in?
what-
We're
don't-
about to fight.
Okay. Is Sherry Poteet the Chuck Norris of band directors?
A little bit.
She is. I mean, she's not very tall, but I definitely wouldn't mess with her.
I wouldn't. Hello and welcome back to Band Yap. My name is Alexa Sanchez.
And I'm Jose Sanchez.
And today we have a master of the 6 to 5 step. We have Chris Clifton. Hi, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Hey, Chris, can you
Yeah.
answer me a question?
Yes.
Do you and Brian Sowers trade tips on shaping your goatees?
Well, I mean, I have more hair on top, so it's already starting out better at that point. Even though I am older than him by about 4 years, and a little more color here. He is. We're both graying a little bit, but I am ahead in the department of hair. So,
yes.
yeah, there are some
Yeah.
tips at times, but yes, mainly it's for him to leave his hat on and not take it off as much as possible.
No, we were at that state meeting, and he sure did have them sunglasses on.
That's the Brian Sowers.
I know that is like
special.
a marker
With his
for
suit,
him.
he has a suit on and he has his sunglasses with him. I think I can't remember before his honor band concert. I think I maybe even said Brian take sunglasses off, or just make sure you don't wear the fedora. I can't remember if he wore that. I think he wore the hat on stage. Then he took it off just for the people who knew him well.
Yeah.
I think I remember that. It's that was last year, but I think I remember that.
I have a question about Brian Sowers because I think that I saw you say this. Is Brian Sowers a card-carrying NAMB member?
Brian Sowers has been a card-carrying member of NAMB for the last 10 to 11 years, yes. And so he and here's why. He brings his band to our pre-oil contest. It was for a long time at Carthage, which is right near his school at Tenaha. And so he would come and perform first at NAMB at the pre-oil contest. Then he would drive all the way up to Mount Pleasant and do that contest the same day. And so to enter the NAMB pre-oil contest, you have to be a member of NAMB.
Wow.
Then also that he comes out to our retreat, like we would meet at Lake Merval and hang out there, chunk washers. They call it stump burning. Lately, there's not been really many stumps burned, but there's washer chunking steaks, burgers, different things like that. And so this year we're having our retreat after the region meeting, and we're going to a brewery here in Tyler and going to have some Mexican food brought in.
Nice. I saw that. I was just curious.
Stump burning. Can you explain the stump burning? What is?
Well, I mean, it's been, like I said, it's been a while since the stump's been burned, but back even before my time when I started teaching, they would literally burn stuff. They're on the fire. And this is where you learned a lot of stuff about military marching, where if you were a young director, you kept your mouth shut. You listened to the guys that were older discuss and talk about marches, maneuvers, different things. And NAMB actually also used to go out and stay at a resort. And people would bring their families and they would spend a weekend there hanging out together, just talking about stuff. Someone would bring a projector and show videos, and that's the style of military marching um, is really passed down from generation to generation. And so the generation before me, whether it be Glenn Wells, both Glenn Wells, Stephen Moore, um, others, Tommy Moore, Henderson. You go back to Stuart Bird before that, get back to Joyce Grant before that, and you go his generation. You go to Butch Olney at Lindell. You go further back, it just goes back and back and back. And so all of this knowledge and information is passed down from generation to generation, and that's you know, when I was younger, I kept my mouth shut and listened, and looked up to some people like George Little, who was at Dudian at the time. That he went to Lufkin. Some directors who were a little older than me, but were teaching, and so and now I find myself at times helping younger directors when they ask, helping them learn to either chart drill, to how to style a march, how to put an ensemble together. There's no secrets in military marching because it's all made. A lot of it's been done already. It's just finding a way for you to understand it and then let someone else gain that knowledge. Because the best thing I like about teaching out here in East Texas and in the military style is the people I compete with. We're good friends, and so one year someone forgot a snare drum or a harness, and they marched right after us. And I said, "Here, borrow ours," or I'll talk to several of the people and even 2A directors. We'll talk weekly, or we'll call each other. Hey, how's rehearsal going? How's this? You know, and bounce ideas off each other. So a lot of collaboration. We do like to compete with each other, but more important than that, we're friends.
Well, and there is a certain amount of like East Texas tightness that is there, like really,
Yep.
really.
Yes.
And then you add in the military marching, I'm going to say sect. I mean, I imagine sometimes
Yep.
like now that we've had these stump burning ceremonies and things like that, like you're druids and you come with these like cloaks and like,
Really put a lot of thought into
ding,
this.
da-dum, da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum.
Yep.
That's
Wow.
You got to
Is
know
that
the secret password. You got to know. Yeah. And
Oh.
yeah.
name
Yeah.
that Carl King tune. Yeah. It's a whole
Sousa
thing.
spelt backwards.
Yep.
Hey, all.
Yep.
That
Yep.
reminds me of that Bluey episode where they have Stump Fest.
Oh, that's right.
That's what that reminds me of.
I
That
have
in,
not. Yeah, I
in
haven't
that
seen that one.
episode, they're digging up the stump, so
Nope.
they're not burning it, but it's
Not
like
burning
a
it.
whole
Yeah.
ordeal. It's like a social thing.
Wow, way
Yeah.
to bring it back to Bluey.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
can bring anything back to Bluey.
yeah, but like you said, there is a close knitness, and we do or protective of each other. We um, and even the people are like in case of Brian Sowers and those that teach core style in our area, we help everybody, and it's been neat to see Brian do what he's done at Tinnahaw, and there's other people as well, but just our area, we want to see each other succeed is the main thing.
That's awesome.
And each program do well. So.
Well, now that we've derailed a little bit, we're going to bring it back in.
That was good information.
Yeah, that was good
info. That wasn't a derail.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a. We're going to come back to some of the lore of military marching, man. So, Chris, can you tell us about yourself, your background, your education, teaching experience, all that kind of good stuff?
Yes. So I grew up in Glaywater, which is outside of Longview, about 10 minutes from there. And as a young kid, my parents both were not musicians. And so my dad was a high school football player there at Glaywater and was the local banker, so everyone knew him. So I grew up with him. Everybody in town knew who he was, which was great. And then my mom was also not in music in high school. She did cheerleading and drill team. And so my dad, though, took me to football games from the time I was 3, 4, 5 years old. And my first love or attention grabbing thing for band was going to those Friday night games. And I would peek up. We would sit pretty close to the band, and I would listen to the band, watch the band, and go, "That's pretty cool. I like that." And then I'd watch them march at halftime. By the time I got to 5th grade, they came around for instrument testing, and by that point, we had a music teacher that did elementary music there, and the middle school band director by the name of Bill Butler. came by and tested us for instruments. And I was one of those students who looked up and said, I want to play tuba. And you know what happens when a kid wants to play tuba?
You
They
play
play
tuba.
You do. You do. I thought, man, look at those tuba songs. That looks fun. Like, let's carry that around. Let's do that. Kind of looks fun. And so, fast forward to sixth grade, I couldn't play anything below a fourth line F for the first several weeks of band. And this is back in the day when we had 90 people in the room. And sometimes we would split woodwinds, beginner, and brass in the same class period. You still would have 40, 45 brass kids. You may get, you were heard individually maybe once every 2 or 3 days, maybe once a week. And so, it's a lot different now. It's a lot better. I tell my students, you're a lot better off than I was as a beginner. But I'm not gonna derail that. I'll keep going on my background before I get to that. So I went through and got to high school, or I really enjoyed middle school with Mr. Butler. And by the time I got to seventh, going to eighth grade, the last year of middle school, and I think the director knew that I enjoyed playing football as well. And with the background of my dad being an all-state football player, the coach that he played for still at the high school, there was a little bit of draw of, you know, is Chris going to go and play football, or is he going to do band? Because when I was there after your freshman year in high school, you had to choose. Either you're going to the band or you're going to football. And so they pulled me up there in eighth grade and let me play at games in the stands with the high school band, which was kind of a good recruiting tool to get me hooked. And so by the time I moved to the high school, I made the decision before school started. I was doing football and band, and I was starting to lose my spot in the drill, and that really didn't sit well with me. And I enjoyed football, and I was pretty good at it. I mean, I could have played through high school, and that would have been the end of my football days. But Mitchell Smith was the high school band director there, and he was also helped with Mr. Butler through middle school, because they were just two directors at the time for a 4A. Now it used to be 3A, now 4A school district. And so by the time school started, I quit football and just went the band route, and went through high school. At the end of my freshman year, Mr. Smith left and went to Cooper High School, so we had a new director come in, and we had Tim Hunger for a year my sophomore year, and I had another director, Joe Woodson, for my junior and senior year. So I had three directors in 4 years. So, and you see a lot. The band went from 120 my freshman year to 60 my senior year, and so there was some change there. And it's never easy when you have three directors in 4 years in high school. But that fire, and I knew by the time I was in ninth grade, I'm gonna do music, and so I knew I was wanted to be a band director, wanted to go to college and do that. And so the senior year, I kind of looked at, and I thought about going to SFA. Then I thought about going to what's now East Texas A&M, the A&M Commerce, and then Kilgore College. Wayne Smith came to the band hall and offered me a full ride for the junior college there for 2 years. And so Kilgore is only about 15 minutes away from where I grew up, so I could live at home, and I could also go to school for free. I mean, I paid $0 to go those first 2 years. They had a ton of money, and I'm the oldest in my family, so that helped, not paying for college for 2 years. So I went to Kilgore College for 2 years, and in that process, the senior year, I was at Team EA of my high school year. I didn't make the All-State band. I missed it by one chair. But my director took me because his son made the All-State band, and he took me and another friend of mine. So there were three of us that went down and stayed with him at Team EA our senior year. And I happened to fill out a little questionnaire form at the Blue Knights booth at Team EA and forgot about it. You're a kid. You fill out things. You forget about things. Well, come March or April, I got a call from the Blue Knights, and it was like, "Hey, we have a spot open for tuba. You want to, or contra? They call it contra at the time, still, and you want to come audition for it?" And so I did. I said, "Yes, I'll come out." I flew out to Denver, Colorado, and so here's this kid from Glaywater, Texas, that's marched military his whole life, that's going to at that time, top 12 drum corps. And then you're going to say, "Oh, by the way, this is the G bugle, and we read in trumpet fingers and in treble clef." And I go, "What's treble clef?" And then you're sitting there and you're through the audition, and they're going, play G, it's open. And you go, isn't F open? It's a whole learning curve there. It took me to be a part of the Blue Knights that year, and for the next 3 summers, marched in 2001, 2002, and 2003. So I have a drum corps background, but it was a neat experience. It really got me out of my comfort zone. Got out of rural, conservative East Texas and moved to Denver, Colorado, which is not anywhere close to East Texas. And met some really cool people, though. It was a good learning experience for me. You can really learn a lot about yourself when you're waking up each day and rehearsing for 14 hours.
Yeah. Well, you have such a rich history in the military realm, and then you're going out onto the core style, which is I mean, it's a
Yep,
different style. It's a
it is.
different culture and things like that. And like that says a lot because like growth happens in situations where you're not comfortable. And it's funny because you have like a state championship and or some accolades in the military marching band, but you have some core background.
I do. I do. And it really, like you said, it made you uncomfortable. And it was uncomfortable for a little bit, going, hey, you stand up, slide, turn to the side, and going, what? You want me to do what? And, so there was a lot of, had to be a quick learner to catch on. And so not only to learn treble clef, to learn to play the G bugle, but like you said, marching side to side, backwards. It was a steep learning curve, but it was a lot of fun. And so I value. There's a lot of good memories from that, and friends I made along the way. That it just pushed me to be a better person and find out a lot about myself. Because like I said, 14 hour. When you wake up and do a 14-hour rehearsal block, or you look at the schedule for a day and go, man, 4 hour block here, lunch, 4 hour block here, lunch or snack, 4 hour ensemble, and before that you ran 3 or 4 miles that morning, and so it was a lot of fun. It was neat. So that's maybe something about my background people don't know is there's some drum corps in there, and I still appreciate. I haven't really followed much this year, but I do um, appreciate the good drum corps stuff and the corps style of the world too. You know, hi.
So the time of the recording of this podcast is during finals week.
It is.
So Chris, do you need to throw the world for a loop and see if you can post up a DCI photo of yourself as your profile picture and go finals, happy finals week.
I should. I've not done that yet. I'll have to find myself. And I was a slim, trim, 185 pounds. It was my summer weight loss program. You would go in there and come out. It was a lot of fun. But I'll have to post that. I've not done that yet. I haven't done it actually in a long time.
Well, I think it's always funny whenever you go to like a DCI booth and like one of the shirts they sell is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a lot of those and a lot of casseroles. I had casserole every which way you could have it.
Yeah, there's only so many ways.
They found ways to invent different things when times got rough. So there were some times where you just went, let's go make a peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Well, did you ever get tired of the peanut butter? Did you get off tour and you're like, I'm done with peanut butter and jelly for a little bit?
They actually, with the food truck, they did pretty well. I mean, it wasn't just overwhelming. Now, like I said, you were tired of helper of pasta, but you also found you couldn't eat like you did in drum corps because when you're out there burning that many calories and you get back off tour, that's where you get in trouble. Where if you still eat like you're on tour.
Yeah.
And so you would have to catch yourself and go, I don't need to have that much because I'm not going out and doing this much all day, Or this is kind of weird, but you found yourself. I mean, you're around these people so much, and you live with them 24/7. Sleep on the bus. You're staying at high schools. You're sleeping in a gym full of people. In the showers, there's just a locker room full of people, of guys showering, washing their horns off, getting ready to go. And the first time you get home and you take a shower and it's just quiet, it's weird. Or you go to sleep in a room by yourself. There's nobody else. A gym full of people. So of course you're young, and so I actually went back and did some staff stuff with Blue Knights in 2010, and it was not as easy to sleep on a gym floor, or not. We didn't sleep on a gym floor, but a classroom. It wasn't easy to sleep on a classroom or a bus 15 years later than it was when I marched, or 10 years later. So
Yeah, I slept in a dorm a couple of times after like I graduated from Baylor, and I was like, oh man, this might be the reason why my back hurts so much.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I remember at UT Austin sleeping in Jester on those little, yeah. They weren't the most comfortable things, but after you slept on a bus and drum corps, you can make it. I was still young at that point. Plus, there were other reasons to go to sleep in Austin after a long night. That's part of the story that gets there after Kilgore College. And so, yeah, after I got done with Kilgore College, or I was at Kilgore College, did my 2 years, got my associate's in music, and I really wanted to go to UT Austin. I grew up a Longhorn fan, enjoyed going to games, seeing the Longhorn band, and thought it'd be real cool to go to school down there. And so I'll go down and audition the first time. And at that time, I got, they would send you a letter. They would tell you right then, they'd say, we'll mail you a letter and let you know if you get in or not. And I got a letter that said I didn't get in the first time I auditioned. And so there are several things through my career and in education where some roadblocks where I had to make my mind up that I wasn't going to accept that. I was going to fix that. And so I got a hold, I think I called or emailed the professor and said, hey, it was early on enough to where I could audition again. And so I said, I'd like to audition again. What do I need to do? He said, hey, go take some lessons. You need to do a few things on your playing. And I went down to SFA. Stephen of Austin was close enough to where I could go take lessons with the tuba professor. I took several lessons and made the drive down there. Went down re-audition at UT Austin and got accepted. And so that was one of the first times my education career where I could have went a different way. Texas State, or at the time Southwest Texas, I think it might have been Texas State. I can't remember at this point. Where I was going to go if I did not get an UT, and that would have worked out great. It would have been a good time at Texas State, but I met a lot of good friends, and so I got into UT Austin. Went down there. I did transferred in as a junior. Did 3 years, and got to. It was a great time to be in a Longhorn band because Vince Young era. That was the national championship, Rose Bowl. Got to do both Rose Bowls, 04 and 05. Did a Bush inauguration parade in 2004. Got to fly a bunch of places and go on airplanes and go to stadiums. And so that really, there's a lot of good memories and good friends that were made in the time at UT. Now, the other part of that, at UT, was I did not take a full advantage of my time as a student. I didn't take it as seriously as I should have. I should have studied more, should have practiced more, should have just really taken more care of my business. There came a moment there where I had a meeting there with a professor, and he told me, he said, hey man, I don't think this is for you. I don't think music education is for you. And again, this is a lot of this is on me because I wouldn't take care of my business. But he told me, you should go explore other things, maybe look at business, be in insurance. You have a great personality. You would be great in the business world. And I thought, no, that's, not, I've always wanted to teach, I want to be a band director. So that was disappointing because I would have had to repeat another year of some education courses. And so I went home, picked myself up, and went and found the catalog for the university. And I figured if I take these classes the next spring, and if I take these classes in the summer and next fall, I could graduate with a bachelor's in music instead of music education. And so I found a way, showed the advisor. They said, oh, that does work, and got out with my bachelor of music degree. So I did not student teach. I was not certified when I got out. And so I graduated in December of 2005 and started looking for jobs. And of course, at that time, it's a little different as now. The market, people are really persistent now. Back then, you really had to try to find a job. It was a lot harder. And so I went through the alternative certification route and found a job in Nacogdoches. And that's where my career started. And so, that roadblock to getting into UT, not getting accepted the first time, and then getting in, and then for my own sake of not taking care of business, of having to get a bachelor's in music, having to get alternative certification. It was kind of there were some ways where it could have come off the rail, the train could have come off the track. And so But I always have had a strong personal belief, and if you tell me I'm not going to do something or be good at something, or back me into a corner, I'm gonna find my way out.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna show you. Well, like this also like comes back to the fact that like you have like grit. Actually, like I took this from Kendall Santos and how like she is like detail oriented,
Yeah,
and she picked
yeah,
that up from Evan Van Doren. But
yeah,
I literally posted our schedule for tomorrow, and my quote, check this out, is grit is passion and perseverance for a very long term goals.
yes. That's
And that
a
is exactly what you're talking about.
yes, yes. And so I still have the letter. I have that letter I got that it's in my office of not getting into that first audition. My parents saved it for me. I think I threw it away and they picked it up and stored it somewhere. And so they gave it to me years later and said, here's that letter and see how far you come now. And so and it makes me think for those students that you look at and go, I just don't know if this kid will make it. But sometimes they'll surprise you know. And like I said, I was that student in college that again was not taking care of my business, but eventually started figuring some things out.
I think that's a tuba player thing because I did the same thing. Like I was awful. I say this to everyone. I was an awful music education major, and I made
Yep.
it through just by on the like will to teach.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I could,
Yep.
like I was horrible at theory. I was horrible at all that kind of other stuff, and I just wanted to get into the classroom. And the classes I did well in were like my education classes.
Yeah. Yeah. My piano professor asked me if I would never play in front of my ensemble when I taught. If I promised I never would play piano, she get how to be my sound for the final class. I said, yes, ma'am. Agreed.
Well, it's just like Alexa and oboe.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The professor at Baylor told Alexa like,
I'm physically incapable of playing the oboe. She said I sure did prepare, but
That's rare. That's
can't
like
fix that.
Sherry Petit told me that Chris, you should never demonstrate flute for anyone. You should let someone else do that. I just teardrop, and I mean I can get a sound out flute, but it takes a while. That's why I don't teach the woodwind instruments in beginner band. And
so how long have you been over at Carlisle? Is it Price Carlisle or just Carlisle?
it's in the city of Price because if you look up Carlisle, Texas, it'll take you somewhere not anywhere close to um, where Price is. So Price is about 10 minutes outside of Henderson, or I live here in Tyler. It's about 35 minutes from where I live. UIL recognizes it as Price Carlisle. And so we're a 2A district there. We have 175 kids in the high school. This year we have 670 kids K through 12. And so everything is on one piece of property. I mean, you leave the band hall, you walk through the junior high, you leave the junior high, there's the high school, the next building over, and the elementary's right there. Everybody shares the same cafeteria. And so, it's a small, tight knit community, a lot of families, a lot of students whose parents with Carlisle. And so, a lot of them look up and there's a bunch of pictures in the band hall of those composite pictures. And they can look through the different years, especially right now. A lot of the parents were in the Scott Rain bands from the late '90s to the 2008, 2010. He I think his last year is around 2010. And so a lot of the parents can point up there, or their kids will point up, and go, "There's mom, there's dad," in the photos up there. And so it's really neat to see. And now I've taught there. This is my 11th year at Carlisle. It's gone by pretty quick. And so I've had entire families come through where I've had multiple siblings and their cousins and different things. And so it's really neat to see the different families come through. And some of the families you go, oh, you're from that family. I can really, really play. And there's some other families, but again, there's some great kids out there. And it's rural. Our school is literally a 4-way stop, post office, which is the building's for sale right now, gas station, and the school. So you better bring your lunch because the gas station's your other option. So,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the gas
This
station
sounds like
burrito.
where I'm from.
yes, yes.
Very
And
similar.
so they make a pretty good hamburger. The chicken strips are okay. There's pizza, a few little things, but if you don't want to pay 10 or $11 for lunch every time or $12, I bring my lunch every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do we. So
Yeah.
like, so you've been there for 11 years. So tell me about like how it was stepping into that program, because that program is just not like a little blip on the radar when it
No.
comes to like the history. It is one that is rich in history. I mean, they've been making state marching contests for a long time, even but when it was still like everyone together. So how was
Yep.
it like walking into that program?
I like a challenge, and so I followed Josh King, who was one of Scott Rain's students. That Scott Rain had really started the tradition at Carlisle. Scott Rain won 3 honor bands there in 2001, 2005, and 2009. Josh King also had won an honor band in 2013. And so when I came in, the superintendent that hired me there, he's now retired. He told me, he's like, well, this could go one of two ways. Either the band does well and we keep you, or the band is not as good and we find someone else to do the job for you. And I said, hey, let's do it. And so, that first year was I had 2 assistants that stayed on from when Mr. King was there, but Josh was there before me, and so they really, really helped. I had a strong senior class that year. I had 18 seniors in that first Carlisle band, and so and they were talented. And in fact, one of the seniors from that band is now an assistant at Carlisle. He now this is his 4th year teaching at Carlisle. Both people that work with me at Carlisle are former students. Uh, Isaac Ferguson is a graduate from the first year at Carlisle, and then Miss Guidry is also a student from Nacogdoches from my earlier days of teaching. And so um, it was, it was a little bit of a challenge, but they pretty much provided what you needed. The resources were there, the support was there. You just had to teach. You just had to show up, teach, make sure the band stayed successful, and it was successful right off the bat. With that first year I was there, we were the last military marching band to medal at the state marching contest in Alma Dome. We came in 3rd that year, or bronze medal in 2A, and so that right off the bat we had some success, and that led to buying a lot of. When I got there, the inventory was not very in good shape, and I think I bought $160,000 of horns that next year to just outfit the high school band. And so over the years, just the support that superintendent was there all the way through my second honor band um, in 2023, and now we have a different superintendent. But again, the support there is just they let you teach, they stay out of the way, let you do, within reason, let you do what you want to do, and it's nice. I like it.
Well, I mean, that comes back to like we all like face our own issues and our own problems. And sometimes like you just find the right fit for you. And a big part of that is the administration that you get. If you have a good administrator that is going to let you do your job, there's no stopping a program.
Oh yeah, and and especially like you said with the tradition that was there, the administration knew let's hire good people, let them do their job, and just give support. And you don't bring them many problems. You bring them accolades and recognition, and it's a good relationship.
Yep. Well, and then like when the new superintendent or somebody comes in, somebody's always around going, "Don't mess with the band."
Yeah.
It Yeah, and the best thing about the situation where our superintendent now, he came in as an assistant for a year or two, and they transitioned over. And he had previously worked in the district as a principal, and his wife. By the way, his wife is also a band director. So my
Oh,
current, yes, my current superintendent, his wife is a band director at a school nearby, and so he hears about band a lot now. So And so
So
that's
it's
very helpful.
definitely don't mess with the band.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I've also helped. I've gone by and listened to his wife's band, and we become friends. I didn't know her before, but now I know his wife well, and she's done some good things there, and it's neat to help her.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a small world. Like we're all connected in some way or fashion. So like it was pretty funny. I sent Jake Heck. Do you know Jake?
I don't.
So Jake, he's in like the southern part of Texas, between like near Yoakum. He's in
Near
Hallettsville,
Victoria-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
Victoria.
Okay. Yeah.
So Jake was like a groomsman in a wedding for another band director. Well, it just so happens that this band director was marrying my first cousin.
Oh, yeah.
And so like I saw videos of Jake and like several band directors. I'm like, oh, I know that guy, I know that
And that
guy, I
guy
know
and that guy.
And
Yeah.
like nobody realized that it was my first cousin
First
that was
cousin.
getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, hey, actually all those people like I know, and it just happens to be my cousin's wedding.
Yeah. And in between people you went to college with and they work in different parts of the state, or like you said, a family member, or it's a big state and lots of people that work, but you can find connections. That was it, the seven thing of Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
Where you, 7 degree, different things. You can really
separation. Yeah.
Separation. You can find your way from one person to another pretty quickly, either
Yeah.
through a mentor or a friend or some connection.
Well, like for us, like who doesn't Sherry Poteet know?
If you don't know Sherry Petit, your life has not been for the better. She's a great person. First, one, before you get to the music part, great person. But two, she's going to challenge you to make yourself a better teacher. And some people aren't comfortable with that, and they need to be comfortable with that. You need to be uncomfortable at times, but she's going to make you a better teacher, and then to be a great mentor and resource. I mean, the first time I judged concert sight reading, I was on a sight reading panel, and she and I were on the same panel, and so we actually rode together from East Texas and rode down the Waco to Region 8 and at Groesbeck, and we judged together. And the best part was, this is my first time judging, so the whole ride down there, I'm getting a clinic, a master class on this is what you need to listen to, and this, and it was great information. And then after each band, this was still in the time when we would sit in the room as sight reading adjudicators, and the band would leave, and you would all talk and write, and she would come over and go, well, what'd you hear? And so the first few times, that's kind of intimidating for Sherry to come out and go, what'd you hear? What'd you think? But, that was, it makes you, and I tell people this, to be a judge makes your band better, makes you a better teacher. And so I enjoy judging and adjudicating because it makes me a better teacher, and I go home and my ears are turned on to different things. But yeah, Sherry, you can't go wrong with that.
I wish I had a microphone in that conversation.
I know.
Yes.
Oof.
And then the best part was we rode home together, and there was a town. There was a town that I gave not a very good rating for, and on the way home, just the sight reading didn't go well. And I looked at Sherry and said, we don't need to stop for dinner in this town. Let's keep driving. She's like, Chris, with what you gave them, let's keep driving. But yes, and then, even past then, she's been in my band hall to listen to different things or just observe the program or just see each other and talk. Anytime you can spend with her is great.
Yeah, we're big Sherry Poteet fans.
And I'm also, I saw her post on Facebook today. I think this is her last treatment of cancer, and if there's someone that cancer is not going to get down, that's Sherry Petit.
I saw that too.
Well, when that diagnosis first came out, I sent her a message or a comment and I said, this cancer doesn't have anything on Sherry.
Yeah, I mean, like it's I hate that for her, just like anybody else. Like cancer sucks, like that's all to it. But like seriously, if there's anybody that is like, this ain't gonna work for me, it's Sherry.
The cancer Poteet. Should be afraid of Sherry Poteet.
It should be.
Is Sherry Poteet the Chuck Norris of band directors?
A little bit.
She is. I mean, she's not very tall, but I definitely wouldn't mess with her.
I wouldn't.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah.
that's what,
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
and I said this about Sherry, like she judged us over at the Cameron Zone of Region 8, and when I saw her name like on that panel, like I went, oh
Yep.
no, and so like I made sure that I was teaching my butt off,
Yes.
to get that to that point. And I kind of felt the same way about you whenever I saw your name on the panel, because I know the rich history of like, I mean, it's East Texas, and I was playing a Sousa march, and I'm
You
going like,
did.
oh no.
And you played it well. I,
you
I
know
enjoyed that performance. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But like it's the same thing. It once like there are just certain people and like things like that where you see them on the panel, and you have to go like, I have to teach better now. And like I have to train myself that like I should be teaching better no matter who's
No,
on the
who?
panel.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, when you see certain names on the list, you kind of go like, whoa.
Yeah. And it especially when I first early in my career at Nacogdoches, Lay Waterworth at the middle school, and then early on in Carlisle, I would really stress over who was on the adjudicating panel. But lately, I've found that sometimes I don't even look at the list that much anymore, and I just really worry about the day-to-day process. I've, like I said, I've been there long enough, 11 years now, to where the program is all of what we've done the last 11 years, and I tell the kids we're not going to worry about the ratings, because the results the process and what we do each day is going to take care of all that stuff.
Yeah, that's something everyone needs to hear a little bit more often, is like, what processes are you giving your students and your program in order to make sure that the success is something that is going to happen. And that's something that we talked to like Shawn Murphy about before, is that quote unquote trophies, like they're not earned like on the stage, they're earned in
No.
rehearsals and they're earned in practices.
Yeah.
And you just go to contests or evaluations to pick up your trophies.
You do. I mean, at this point, I used to get really nervous as a director early on and middle, and still even up to 8-10 years ago, of, oh man, are we going to make a first division this year? I really want to get that trophy. And now it's just, you enjoy getting the trophy. And I was really excited those first few times. But now it's more of a challenge to, we're not going to just get a first division, but can it be to our standard? Can it be striving for, you're not going to ever have a perfect performance, but can it be like really, really just out there? And so if you strive for that, and it starts every day, it starts in 6th grade. What you do at concert and sight reading starts in 6th grade. And then whichever way for us, it's 7th grade band in the middle. And then by 8th grade, you're in the high school ensemble. And so when you teach in 6th grade, your clock is ticking, and by 8th grade, these kids need to be at least able to produce a tone that will blend and balance in a high school ensemble. And so like I said, I don't waste time. I'm very efficient with time, and I hate wasting time. It just, I can't stand it. And so just being efficient, playing a lot in beginners, playing a lot in 7th grade, even in the high school ensemble, I move quickly. We share so many kids that you have to, like, for these honor bands that have been awarded. Both of those were won without any sectionals or outside Monday night or evening rehearsal. It was all done during class. And so because our kids in the spring, now I will say for the concerts, we obviously did outside the school stuff to get ready for those concerts. But our kids do basketball, baseball, softball, ag, or a lot of them have to work to help provide for their family. Or a lot of them, especially our female students, have to watch their younger siblings because mom and dad's at work. And so we just don't waste time, and we, prepare enough during class to allow them to do other things after school. And yeah.
Well, like this is something I've talked about with other people, but the vibe that you get from like small communities like that is very different from large communities.
Yeah,
just because like I mean, it is like what you have is what you have. Like there's not much of a quote unquote alternate block,
no, yeah,
and sometimes like you're like, oh, I guess I'm just marching a hole. But like I can relate to that in a lot of ways because like my grandmother was one of 13 children,
yeah, yeah.
so she was a migrant worker, and she stopped going to school at the end of her eighth grade year.
Thank you.
Yeah, because in that kind of family and in that time frame, um it was the oldest girl's responsibility to stay home and take and like help care for everybody else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And and even now, like, so we're in the middle of summer band. School starts next week. There's been a kid or two here and there that just says, "Look, I've got to watch my sibling," and sometimes in that small rural setting, you got to have a little bit of grace and know that kid's gonna be there next time, and there's not a whole lot thing you really do about it. And I know we don't punish them for it. We make they make it up. They come and learn the music, but you have to be flexible, and you have to be. I have a great relationship with our coaches and with our other sponsors to where we don't have the kids don't make a choice. They don't have to worry about scheduling with sharing students. If the adults can't make it work, you're doing a disservice to your kids.
Hmm.
And so, and you're going to drive them away. We're going to drive them away for your program or another program by not communicating well and sharing. So that it's a lot of stuff behind the scenes with the coaches, and have a great relationship with those guys and girl coaches, and we just make it work.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, it's about the kids. Like we have to remove ourselves from that process as far as like, oh, it's my time. I've had kids miss rehearsals, and I've had lots of discussions with tennis coaches. I've had lots of discussion with football coaches, volleyball coaches, our dance team, drill team, just anyone and everyone. I'm like, well, all right, guys, we start rehearsal at 7:15 a.m. and then like get there as fast as you can. I'm like that's just the way it works. Like, and I communicate, and I have to reassure parents consistently, hey, we are not gonna punish your kid
Yeah.
for like
No.
missing rehearsal. Like, I'm not gonna do that because like I want to support them in the things that they love and they're interested in, and that's our job.
Yes, because this will be the 7th year in a row that I've had the starting quarterback in band. And so when you see my group at a game playing the stands, we sound like a pretty good junior high band in the stands because I have 12 football players that are down in the field playing football. I have about 6 to 7 cheerleaders that are cheering on the sideline, and then 2 or 3 student managers that are helping do that. So I gain about 20 to 25 people at halftime that march, and then they go back and do their other thing. And so, I mean, you get comments from people in other schools, and they look out and go, wait, that was the starting quarterback, and he's over there playing tuba right now, or he's playing snare drum. And so, it's really neat to see them. And for our last honor band picture, we took a picture and put it in the program of kids in their different sports uniforms and cheer uniform and different things, and just made a picture. I'd seen it somewhere online and had them holding their instrument. And so, some would have a baseball bat in one hand and a trumpet in the other hand, or different things. And so it was a pretty cool thing to put in there, But it going back to me, I missed on a chance to play football because you couldn't share, and I was one of those rare people that went the band route instead of quitting and continuing the sports. And so make it important to kids. I tell the kids, hey, you're lucky you get a choice. I didn't have one back in the day, but we make it work.
I mean, that's the goal. Like I tell the kids, I go, my time in band is over.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
like, I'm out here sweating with you, but like
Yep.
you know, it's just it's so far gone for me. Like that experience is not what I'm looking for anymore. My experience is like seeing the happiness of my students going forward. And like I had a very good conversation with a set of parents recently, and there sometimes there is and you can probably attest to this a bit, is that sometimes band and gets a bad rap with like, well, they're just really tough on our kids, they expect a lot and they demand a lot. Well, yeah, there's a certain level of standard and excellence that we demand for our kids, and we're not going to falter on that standard and excellence. um and so like having those type of conversations with parents and educating parents on what that is, I don't know if it's gotten harder or if it's gotten more like it's come more like full front in what we're trying to do, because now kids have such a large opportunity to go do just other things.
Other things, yes. A lot's changed. There was a little bit of a change really before COVID. If you think back to teaching around 2017, 2018, getting into COVID is when you had all this social media stuff come out. You had TikTok. You had all these things start coming out. Cell phone. Students had a cell phone in their hand, had the internet, and so it changed. I mean, you remember teaching pre-smartphone and pre-social media. It was a lot different, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had a BlackBerry.
Yeah,
When you were
but
teaching?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But really, since COVID and since then, um, really, and I've noticed this, there's less parenting going on at home, and so a lot of them are being raised by a tablet or something else, and there's also a lot of parents that are more friends with their kids than they are parents, and so they're letting their kids make more of the choices than when I grew up. The parents said, "You need to do this. No, you're going to try this and stay with it." There was more guidance, and so it's just been a shift in the way parenting styles have changed, and along with that, I would say people are a little bit more. I mean, we're marketed to on you watch ads on YouTube or ads on TV or this and that. It's all about what can make your life easier. Well, there's a lot of things that want to make your life easy and instant gratification, but band is not instant gratification. You're not going to learn to play that saxophone or flute or trumpet right off the bat. You're not going to be very good at it at the beginning. And so what we do really goes against the odds of what kids are set up for these days, which is if I don't get this game on this app on this phone, I'm not very good at it. I'm going to go to a different app or game. I'm just going to delete it and go do something else. And so what we do really is important for their education because it's going to challenge you. Like you said, hold into a standard, hold into the expectations is against the norm of what's expected in a lot of areas. And so really for those parents and those kids, this is an opportunity for your child for their life to be changed.
Yeah, and across the nation, I don't know if you know this, football enrollment numbers have been down the past X amount of years,
They have.
and it's because of the same issue. Like there's a certain standard, there's a certain excellence that they're trying to achieve, but that's hard.
It is. And so I tell parents, especially for those that are on the fence, like, look, this is again what I just explained earlier. This is against normal odds to where we're challenging you to do something out of your comfort zone that's going to make them stronger in the long run. And so it's just something that luckily for us, there's not a lot offered where I teach. So you have to take that in sixth grade, and most of them retain to seventh grade, and so they're kind of already plugged in. You have to do it in sixth grade. And then for most of them, we make you like doing it, and you continue on to seventh grade. And so we kind of have a captive audience where I'm at. But I imagine those other places where you're not required to take band in sixth grade, that can be a challenge, especially recruiting. I really feel for those people in those more rural or the social or the economic situations for parents and families where these instruments are not getting cheaper. And for those, we provide all instruments at my school, and so everybody's on what we provide. And for those programs that have kids go out and buy saxophones and flutes and clarinets and trumpets, sure, it's difficult right now, especially with the way prices are increasing in instruments.
Yep. It gets really tricky, but I mean, people are trying. They're trying real hard. Well, Chris, so tell me, why band?
Why teaching band, or why what
Why band? Just
why band? I would say you play those songs as a student, and you just really you feel a connection, and you really enjoy those moments. And then you also, as a student, you bring a bunch of people from different backgrounds together to do something, a common goal. And so, you have kids that have money, don't have money, kids from different backgrounds, different religious beliefs, different. You bring a collection of people together. And my parents and some other people always amazed, how do you teach them to march? How do you get them to do this? And so for me, wide band, kind of hard to answer because it's always been I've done it for so long that I could imagine not doing it. To not be able to get in front of a group and work on a concert piece, or not to be able to get in front of a group and do a marching band, or work with beginners. I mean, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy going to work, and you know, it, all of us who are in this together. I mean, how often do we really think about bands? It's a lot, isn't it? I mean, how much?
Yeah.
It's it really consumes your mind at times about this piece or what am I doing here. And so also also an area where you can always be a lifelong learner. I tell my students the day I stop wanting to learn and improve as a teacher and as a musician is the day I need to stop teaching and do something else. Because if I'm gonna spend this much time with you and stress about all these things we stress about, I'm going to continue to find a way to get better. And really also, I mean, look, just think about all the pieces that come out the last 5-10 years that were not there when we first started teaching, you know. And so just the evolution of different songs that come out, different composers, there's just a lot of, I try not to repeat pieces in concert band as much as possible. And really, I try not to repeat marches because as much as possible to continue to grow and just not do the same things over and over. And there's so many neat things out there to play. And so, why band? Why not? There's so much out there. It's a lot of cool stuff.
So let me ask you this: Did you ever have like an aha moment, like this is it, like this is what I'm destined to do?
In ninth grade, I mean, just watching the guy that started me, Mitchell Smith, and just watching the way he interacted with students, the way he interacted with me. I was a freshman in the high school group. The high school group was really, really good and had some good stuff. Played some, Crosley March. Played, maybe West Highland Sojourn, some other things, and just could really play. And just being a young musician, to be in that group, I went, "This is it." I want to do this, and I want to do what he does. That's pretty cool. So I knew by ninth grade I was hooked.
So were you the best musician in your band?
As a freshman, no. I mean, I was good. There was an all-state tuba player who was a senior, and I was a freshman, and so he kind of guided me along the way and helped me a lot as a young student. By the time I was a senior, I mean, I was one of the top three. My one of my best friends was a euphonium player, and he honestly was a better player than I was. He started out as music education, but did not continue after that first semester or two. And also the manager's son, he also was a trumpet player. He made all state, and he was a good player. And so I was one of the top three. In military marching, you're not exactly playing a lot of notes in tuba. So there's a lot of E flats, F, and B flats. I mean, if you hit 3 notes, that's like 70% of your notes right there.
What is there's that like newspaper cartoon that is like a tuba player kid, or I just had my first lesson, and then the kid disappears for like a night, and he comes back home, and what did you learn? Oh, I learned F, E flat, C, and B flat. Okay, great, fantastic. The next day, where are you going? Oh, I have a gig.
Yeah. It's like warming up as a tuba player. You like play a note and go, "Let's do it. I'm good."
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. I play once a year now. There's a local Green Acres Baptist Church has a band camp for middle school, and 2 years ago they invite. I don't play often because I just stay so busy with teaching and then also with family and different things. And so it had been years since I played in a group, and I played last year, and I had a good time. And I played again this year. I call it my once a year I play tuba because I don't teach tuba beginners. I play tuba very rarely these days.
Yeah, I used to do like 2 community bands, and then I got a girlfriend.
Yep,
Then
yep,
it was downhill from there.
yep. And that
We
was
used
that.
to do a lot more playing.
Yes, I mean, especially once you have kids in the family, there's not a lot of playing. So once you end your day at the band hall, you're ready to you have things to get home and do, you know.
Well, since you brought up family, so how long have you been married?
This December will be 14 years. And my wife is not a musician. We met in Nacogdoches. I was teaching. I started my career at Nacogdoches. I worked there for 6 years at the high school, and we met one Sunday morning at church. I came in a little bit late. Being a bachelor, you tend to sleep in a little bit.
Well, yeah, and being a tuba player, of course,
Being a tuba player, I made it by communion, so there was that. But we met. But we met there at church and started dating. And when we first went on a date, she'd never been in band before, and so for me, it's part of who we are. It's a whole thing. And then also, I'm a big sports fan. I love sports, and so she didn't like sports. She went to A&M. I went to UT, but she went. I've been to Kyle Field more times than she has, so I've been several times. And but no, we've been married 14 years and have two sons. We have a son that's going to 5th grade, and so he after this year will be in beginner band. Right now, he goes to Tyler ISD. He doesn't go to Carlisle. We live about less than a mile from their school, and so he goes there. And also, I have a son that's going into 1st grade. So I have a almost 11-year-old and I have a 6-year-old and 2 boys. Wyatt, when he first started the school, went to Carlisle. So he was a band hall kid. I mean, he was 4 and 5 years old, buzzing on a plastic P-bone and playing. Now he picked up a sousaphone. I should send you this video. I'll send it to you. He picked up a sousaphone the other day when we were at the band hall, and he got F and high B flat come out and low B flat. And I really haven't taught him anything about it. I mean, it's not really hard to do. But there's going to be some musical ability in his future. He'll be in, like I said, 5th grade this year and in band. So the great thing about where we live here in Tyler, and my mom and dad live here in town. They're 10 minutes away. My wife's mother, my mother-in-law, is 12 minutes away, and they're both retired. And so both my parents are now retired, and her mother are retired. And so having family around, and my mother-in-law picks up our boys every day from school, brings them home. And so it's just great for us as a family, having family here in town. And my brother lives in town with his wife and son, and they live a mile away. And my sister lives 2 miles away here in town, and she has 3 kids. So any random weekend at times, there may be several kids in the pool. We have a pool in the backyard. Get together, hang out, let the cousins play. They're all close in age. And so it's really neat to have a family here in town, and we're anchored here to Tyler. We're not moving. I enjoy the house I live in. I like the interest rate we have.
Oh yeah, we love a low interest rate.
We do too. And so we have a great home here in a great neighborhood in South Tyler, and it really have great family. The part I like about what we do in the small school where I teach and out in this area is we don't do a lot of stuff after school besides a Monday night in the fall and some games. There's some weekends and some things throughout, but there's a lot of times. Most of the time, I'm home by 5:30 for dinner. I don't live in the band hall. In fact, I'll tell you this: I drive a bus route. Our district's in need of bus drivers. I drive a bus route before school, and I drive a bus route after school. And it's 20 minutes long, but you do what you got to do. And so, most of the time, I'm home pretty by dinner, and I love that part of. That's why I continue to teach out here, and will always teach in East Texas the rest of my career.
So how has you grew up in a small school? How did that mold your approach to what you do now?
I think it just you knew that you only had so many people, and for us, when you only start 40 to 45 beginners, and this is the crop we have to pull from, you just got to teach kids. You may not have. There may be some classes some years that are not as strong as others, but growing up in a small town and growing up, a lot of people. So you know that relationships are important. You know that word's going to get around pretty quickly in a small town. So what you say, what you do, what you represent, who you're about is you better have a strong moral compass, and you better also walk the walk, talk the talk. In small town, because if you don't build those relationships and you don't connect with people and don't realize band's not the only thing in their life, they have other interests. That growing up in that small town helps with that quite a bit.
Well, you've had like a very successful career. And I think a big part of that starts with like marching band. So do you have a favorite part of marching band?
Probably my favorite part is finding some marches that people don't play. For me, I mean, you're gonna hear Mighty Might and Peacemaker, and you're gonna hear some of these marches a lot from a lot of groups. And one of my favorite things is to try to find a march that Mr. Grant Tatum Music doesn't know. So if I can have him come out and clinic my band, I try to make it a challenge each year to have one march where he goes, "Oh, I haven't heard that one before," and try to find stuff it's good, find quality music. And so lately, I've found myself venturing into some German marches, some Austrian marches, some other things. Looking on some, I ordered a march from Germany, and I had to pay for it in euros and get reimbursed. I took it to my tax office, and they said, or my business office, and they said, "Is there any taxes on here?" And I said, "I don't speak German. The receipt's in German. You can have a look for yourself." But just for me, the part of marching band is finding a march that's not commonly played and playing it well. That's what I like about marching band.
Okay, this is a question that I have since you're our third like East Texas person, and I haven't asked this question, I don't think. What is the importance of Tatum music in East Texas?
Tatum music is really it's a backbone of the band programs here in East Texas, because each Monday, for me, each Monday you're gonna have I have Harvey Durham come in, who taught at Longview High School for a long time in the Dallas area. And so they hire retired band directors or band directors. George Little, who was at Luskin, just served on the TBA board of directors, and now has left teaching for a little bit and is at Tatum Music. You have Joyce Grant, who's been there for a long time. I mean, he stopped teaching even before I was in high school or even junior high, around then. And so between Joyce Grant runs Tatum Music. He knows all the directors in the area. So if you're looking for a job, or if you're knowing you want to move around, he's going to help schools connect with directors who are looking to move to a different school. But also, a lot of it's mentorship. He's one of my strongest mentors, and he comes out and listens to my group. And so he will come out and clinic the group in marching band and concert band. Doesn't charge anything, because we do our repair service through Tatum Music. We buy our instruments from them. And so he's been really one of the bigger parts of my career is his mentorship and where I've come from. He comes and hears my bands. If I can take his list and eliminate the list, we all have that person. If you can eliminate that list of what you need to fix for your ensemble, it helps you so much. And like I said, they come around once a week. They pick up instruments, take them to the repair shop, come back. But while they're there, you can ask a question, because they're retired band directors. Hey, what do you think about this piece? Or what are you doing this? Or any time throughout the fall or there, Mr. Joyce Grant is in a band hall, clinic a band, especially towards marching contests. He'll probably be at 3 to 4 schools a day, maybe in an evening rehearsal. And so it's just the hub of East Texas for as far as band and helping band directors. And it goes back before him, because before him, when it started with Alto Tatum, and then eventually his dad, Neil Grant, bought the business. On Saturdays, before we had YouTube, before we had these online resources, when it was just one director per school, they would show up at the Tatum Music store in Longview, and that's where your professional development and your growth happened as a director. And so it's been not only my current generation, but it's been the lifeline of East Texas since the 1940s.
That's so interesting.
Some burning of the stumps.
Yeah.
Yes, the burning of the stumps.
Stump
There's
Fest.
yes, They're and they had a fire. Tatum Music had a fire back in 2021, and there were band directors that were showing up to help move stuff out of the building and help clean
Wow.
cases and do things. So it's a community. There's a lot
Well,
of pride.
and that, I've always heard about Tatum Music, and like the hub and the support and like how they just like build that community, and I think that's why there's such strong East Texas roots, and that's the reason why like so many fantastic band programs have come out of that part of Texas. And I think a big part of that has to do with like the community that like Tatum Music has helped establish and have continued to foster and grow. So I wanted, if people just need to hear that, because that Saturday morning like coffee or like whatever, it doesn't happen anymore. And I've heard like just the stories about that stuff, and like that was always such like something that I think is almost kind of missed in our profession in a lot of ways, where you could just go to like the local music store and pop in a VHS tape or the video of your band and show it, and or play the tape and get here it is,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
I mean, for the owner there for Joyce Grant, I've gone to his home, and he lives off of a lake nearby Longview, and I've been to his home and gone up to upstairs, and I would take him my submissions for honor band recordings, and he has my stereo system up there. My sons would come along with me. We would listen to he'd say, I'd like this piece from this recording. I'd like this one from here. We'd listen to stuff. And I'd say hello to his wife, and he's like, hey, let's go fish in the dock for a little bit. And so I had pictures of him and my son out there. We went out there, and he caught a 3-4 pound bass. And so, not only is there the musician stuff, but he also cares for you as a person. And, it's like family,
Yeah, finding uh, the stuff behind the veil.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And so, and they know your personality, and they know what you like. They just get to know you as a person. They know your strengths, your weaknesses, and they help you. It's about a relationship, and that's why we're so loyal, because they help us so much. And there's companies out there that sell stuff that's a little cheaper, but they, we value what they do for our groups.
Yeah, I mean, because you cannot, relationships like that and like the support like that are priceless.
They are. I mean, like I said, he's one of my best mentors, and so and will continue to be. And also that now he's got George Little there with him, who I've always looked up to as a director, a little younger than him. And so I'm excited about having him come out and work on my groups.
Is it your region that streams y'all's marching contest?
We do. It is great. Yes, we do. We
Watch
stream it.
That marching contest. I have.
Yes, and we also stream the state military marching contest. And so you can watch it. It's for free. There's a radio station there in Carthage, Texas. And Jerry Hansen is the owner of that radio station. He used to be a band director, like a long time ago. Like him and Moses were friends. Came down off the mountain, Yeah. And so, but no, he was a band director, and his love for bands and support for bands, they do that for not much of a charge. Tatum Music is one of the sponsors that helps pay for that. And so they will go to a region marching contest, and they will call you and do an interview with you and ask you, what you're playing this year, what your strengths are, what's been the biggest challenge. And then they give commentary afterwards, and you've heard that. It's a lot of fun. Our kids get a lot of enjoyment going back and listening to that, and then watching the other bands and seeing what they say about that. And so it's also archived. Not only do you see it live, but you can go back and watch it later.
That's fun.
Yeah, I've watched that.
I think you've shown that to me a couple times.
I have. When they're like giving the commentary, like they have such a great band. Like it is one of the best things. And I'm like, why don't more regions do this?
Yes.
This is great.
Well, it's because of Trayzona and all this copyright baloney. So, for us, Carl King is just really glad that his stuff's still being played. He's been dead a long time. I don't think Sousa or any of those guys, they're glad the music's still being, played. You want to know how much I spent on my marching show last year?
Oh no.
You want to know how much I spent?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear it.
Okay, so I had a fanfare arranged that cost me, I think, $75, and I spent probably about $10 to $15 of paper copying the music and stuff. So I probably spent $100 on the show. That's about it. I already owned all the music. The music's been there for a long time. It's all public domain.
$75 for an arrangement? Not bad.
Yeah, that ain't
Yeah.
bad at all.
Yeah, and maybe I may have forgotten. I did order that piece in Germany, so we might add on another $125 in euros. But yes,
In euros.
pretty cheap compared to what I ask my friends what they're spending, and yes,
Yeah.
My philosophy for marching band is if you can't carry it to the field and play it, we're not going to use it. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. We take our little 16-foot trailer, put our instruments in the case, carry what you need to do to the field, and that's just it. No props, no electronics, no computers, nothing, none of that. I'm not jealous of y'all at all.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Rub it in.
That's one of the perks.
So what makes military marching so special?
What makes it special is often you can go places where people haven't seen it. And so I've actually had we've played some playoff games where we play teams that are from more of the Beaumont down that way or more towards College Station. I've gotten emails from people that went, I marched military back in da-da-da-da-da, and I haven't seen a military band in years. And so, and then also, what makes it so special is it's just different from, there's about, out of all the bands, there's over 1,000 something bands in the state. We had a meeting when we first formed the state marching contest, and I believe there were 115 military marching bands in the state of Texas out of the 1,000 and 1,200 bands, and so there's not a lot of people that do it, and so it preserves a heritage. It's a path that everybody's passed here in Texas. At one point, most everybody was military at some point or had military roots, and so it kind of preserves the past, but it's something different, unique. You get to play marches. You get to do more, just block formations. You can be creative in military. You just got to find a way. Now there are some parameters. You got to stay within certain things to qualify to go to the state military marching contest. But it's just unique. And so when you can go and perform for a crowd that hasn't seen it, they kind of look and go, "Oh, that's different."
Yeah. Well, I love a lot of the traditions that are in military marching band. It's definitely something that is very, very traditional, and I love tradition. There's a lot of traditions I do love, and I tell my kids this all the time. I go, guys, anyone in the stands can tell you whether or not a line is straight or not, and that is the most impressive thing about military marching bands. It's like you are marching in a straight line and everyone's gonna know it.
There's not a lot of hiding in military marching. I mean, it's pretty black and white. It's either in line or not in line, and you're hitting the yard line the correct part of the foot or not. We even do this fantastic thing called putting a stripe down our leg. Most people wear black pants, black shoes, and try to hide feet. I wear white shoes and I have a stripe going down our leg and says, "This is what our leg looks like as we go back and forth." And so, there again, there's just those things and those quirks about it that are unique to military marching.
So, can you take me through what it would take for someone to do a military marching band?
Okay. So to do a military marching band, you would have to, one, pick music that would be marches. You're going to look for something that you're able to march and play to, like parade to. Think about going down the street on that parade. And so for me, there's some Sousa stuff that's there, but really, if you're going to do a military marching band, you're going to need to find some more quick step marches, some marches that you can really find a pulse to and hit the ground on. And so you're going to need to find the right music and also find the right music for your group. Would I love to play, the Viking or some other things? It would be nice, but you got to know your group. So one, you got to find the music that fits your group. If you're going to be a military band, because you're exposed. And then also those marches outdoors, are you gonna be able to cover 3 clarinet parts, 3 trumpet parts? Are you gonna be able to do this? Or do you need to stick to a more basic march that has maybe 2 parts? So you got to pick your music first, the right way. Then you've also got to be able to style a march well, because you've got to have a good concept of inherent in your head and ear of being able to style a march. I hear a lot of groups that can't style a march very well, and I make lots of comments about those those style things.
Like I said, that's another reason why I saw you on our panel. I was like, oh, I'm playing Sousa.
Yeah, yeah. And so if you're going to do military, you're going to have to be able to style a march well. And so that's one thing. Then the other thing is, yeah, I mean, if you're switching over, there's been groups that have gone from corps to military, or that have even in this area, there's been some groups that have had a past where they maybe marched corps for a little while. Well, you're going to look at some different fundamentals, because you're a consistent 30-inch stride. And so for me, I mean, really, the fundamentals are there's a lot of similarities to the core style. It's, can you teach fundamentals well, and can you get students to execute those fundamentals? So you're going to have a knowledge base of those marching fundamentals in military. So you have to know, what is a left flank? What is a right flank? What is a crossover? What is a counter march? Left or right? Are you going to do a to the rear, left or right? Are you going to do obliques, which means, are you going to march at a 45-degree angle instead of going straight forward? One part of that. And then you need to be able, are you going to write your own drill? Or are you going to have someone else write it for you? I write my own stuff. There are people that hire Tim Ray, Dr. Ray at A&M to write their drill. There are people, Larry Ward, who just passed away last year, wrote actually a lot of drill for a lot of people in East Texas. And unfortunately, last year, he passed away in the middle of marching season. So there were some groups that had to scramble to finish their drill. He had delivered the front half of the drill and had not given the back half yet. And so you're going to have with this, if you watch a military band, sometimes there's a band that will blow whistles to coordinate a turn to the music. I designed my show to where we start one whistle, and then the rest of the turns are with the music. So you have to know about a strong enough background to be able to coordinate the music to fit with the marching. And if you can get that design, it's like designing for the core style. Can you get those impact moments to hit? Can you get those things to line up visually with the music? So a lot of those aspects in military marching. There's some groups that do it well, and there's some groups that don't do it as well. So can you get the music to turn with the movement? And so you really, if you're going into, if you said, hey, what's it going to take to go teach military? You're going to need to find a good mentor and find someone to help you.
And to burn a stump.
And burn a stump. That stump's going to be a large stump, and you're going to have a lot of people around it.
Yeah.
I love watching a good military show when they lock into the form on like when the phrase.
Yep. And so you can do a lot of things with direction change as far as dynamics. I try to coordinate 2 or 3 impact moments in a show when I write a show, and so or just sudden change direction. You can do a lot with direction change. So you just gotta have to think about it.
That's fun.
It's very similar to core style marching. It's just in a different genre.
Yep.
You look for those impact moments, and you look for those moments to like, okay, what is your visual aspect? How is that enhancing the music, and how is the music enhancing the visual? And it's just in military form. It's in a march form.
And think about it. If you think about this for you, so say you were going to design a military show. I mean, if you have a march that's a little more airy, more light, you open up the block and make them look bigger, and you spread apart more. But if you have a march that's more impactful and it hits more, you're going to be more. Think of making a military form. You see a lot of chevrons or V's or blocks or stuff. And I love a good dark march. Oh, I love a dark march that will make children cry. And so, a lot of my stuff, I will hit you with some dark stuff. In the middle, we're a little more finesse and play light. We're not going to just pound you the whole time. But then we're going to work our way back around to that dark stuff again, and we're going to finish dark. So I have a formula that works for me for our group. And my kids, one year I tried to introduce jazz to them for a little bit in an applied music class. And I was like, hey, kids, this will be cool. We go for a little bit, and they go, can we just play a march? I'm like, good Lord.
When was the last time you had somebody go like, "Can we just play a march?"
That's when you know you're in East Texas.
But I do love a good military marching band, and unfortunately, it's just like the same thing in core style. Like the ones that are doing it well, and the ones that aren't doing it well.
Yes. And a lot of it comes from excitement. You think military marching band and you think excitement. How's that happen? Well, it happens with the energy, the styling of the march. If you can style it and space it in those impact moments, and then marching and then just a changing in direction, you have to create excitement. And then you do the same thing in core band. I mean, you can see a show from a core style group that the music's the same dynamic level, the feet are a little sloppy, maybe the design's not there, the energy from the performers or not, it's not there, and it's just either style. Can you play and march well, and can you project that energy?
Yep. So you have been a consistent competitor, if not winner, of like state military marching contest and honor band. So like how do you handle like the expectation of like a program like that?
It can be a challenge because I mean we've done really the challenge for us. We've won the first 5 times of the state military marching contests that it's happened for Class 2A. And so you have to challenge your group that this is a new year. What happened last year is no longer there, and so you're going to have to. It's kind of like being a sports fan. I like when Nick Saban was just killing everybody at Alabama. You'd watch that guy, and he'd hoist a trophy on whatever day for the national championship, and a week later he's moved past it, and he's already on to the next thing. And so with us, we celebrate when those accomplishments happen, but then we get back to work pretty quick. And so it, like I talked about earlier, the results take care of themselves. It's what we do daily from 6th grade, 7th grade, so on. And so for me, the challenge is, can we play a little harder music? We're trying to touch grade 4 level stuff in a 2A program in concert band. And so, but we also don't take light of that. There are some cool moments there. That 2023 honor band program. That band, by the time it really locked in about 3 or 4 days before the concert, even where it finally just gelled and hit, and then kids were able to sit back and just play and perform. And so that's neat, but it is a challenge to keep to. Sometimes you're more relieved that it actually happened than you know. Um, Sometimes it can be challenging to replicate success and keep it going. But I'm a competitive person by nature, and also just like I said, not wasting time earlier. We're not going to waste time in class. We're going to be productive, and so those things keep happening by just continue to work hard every day.
Well, and I've had this discussion with some other people. It's like, yeah, the people who kind of have a little bit of swagger whenever they do something once, like making the state marching contest once, great, fantastic. What are
Yeah.
you going to do to get back? Or like,
Yeah.
can you do it more than once? That is like where you see like the merit of like the systems that you put into your program, and how that kind of like shapes the destiny of like what your band is capable of doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that's really really difficult for a lot of people to see. And like, okay, we did this once, okay, great, how are you going to replicate that? Or how are you going to chase that feeling? Or how are you going to chase that success? And I think that all has to do with like the culture that you try to establish in your band hall. So what are some of the things that you do to try like to establish the culture in your band hall in your facility?
For us, we make sure that everyone knows that they're important to the group, and that they all know their role. We have a student leadership team that helps the younger kids with marching, and so you try to get the older kids to help those younger kids and get those routines and procedures established right off the bat. We've done that recently here with marching band. We've got a large influx of, we've got 30 8th graders moving up, Out of the 9, we have 96, 95 in band. So about 32 of those are eighth graders. And so, but a lot of our culture is built on working hard and then expectations. And we've created the expectations of, they don't come in the band hall every day and wonder, are we playing today? They just know we're going to play today. And they learn that in sixth grade. They don't. They know that we're going to come in, and from the time the bell rings to the time from bell to bell, we're going to work hard. And so a lot of that is just, and then the kids kind of pick up on things and help the younger ones going, we're going to start outside and stay, just the processes and procedures. And then, but also you get to work on this with the students one-on-one. So building those little relationships. I really enjoy working all region. A lot of your success sometimes comes from those lessons of working all region, working on solo ensemble. It helps develop musicality. And so a lot of it is just pushing the students to be successful and, teaching them to learn to work.
Yeah. Well, like especially like for you coming into that program where there was a standard and an expectation, and like really knowing how to navigate that as someone coming into that program, like that must have been really tough to also like go like, great, you've been great in the past, but this is the way we're gonna do it now that I'm here.
Yeah, and really that first year, and I will give this advice to someone, if for anybody that's going in somewhere that's already been successful, don't try to reinvent the wheel the first year. Okay. A lot of that first year, I really included a lot of those 18 seniors. I said, hey, I'm the new guy. And they said, we want to go to state marching. We're seniors. And I said, cool, let's do it. And so getting those older kids to buy in and be on board, it took a little while, but getting those kids to buy in and then just not changing a lot, but changing a few things here and there. And then the second year I was at Carlisle, it started changing a few things. And of course, that whole time you're starting at the beginning level. And so you're just building. And by year 7, everybody's yours from 6th grade all the way up to 12. And so, but those early years, I tried not to change a whole lot, but gradually changed. And so, and we still change and tweaks and things even now that I've been there 11 years. But early on, there was a lot of just make sure that the older kids buy in and feel appreciated and feel kind of in the loop. You're trying not to just pull the rug out from them and say, we're completely changing things. Because we didn't need to change things when I got there. But there were some tweaks and things we just kind of gradually did through the process. And my personality type, I'm not one to just go in and just, I'm pretty off the podium. I'm really easygoing, real laid back. But on the podium, we don't waste time. We're on top of things. And so I learned a hard lesson my first years of teaching, and that was to try not to be someone else. I was an assistant there at a large. I started out at what's now 5A, used to be 4A back in the day. So I was in the large school setting there at Nacogdoches, and I followed a guy that was very, very strong personality, very demanding, lots of things that you would not do today, teaching wise. Old school. We're talking about old school.
Throwing stands. Yeah.
Yes, different things. And so that was not me. And so for those first several years, I was not true to myself, and I did not enjoy it as much. And but as I started to, like I said earlier, I started finding a mentor, Fred Allen at SFA. I started doing my master's with him. And I started to change my approach on some things. I started to find myself. And I changed jobs. I went to Gladewater for 3 years. I went back to my hometown, taught middle school for 3 years. And so that really, just being yourself, but also, like I said, coming to Carlisle, not trying to change and reinvent the wheel, because they were winning honor bands and going to state marching contests, and just eventually putting your stamp on the program is what I've tried to do. And my stamp has been there now for a while.
Well, you mentioned this a little bit. So you've been associated with some honor band programs. So how many honor band programs have you been a participant of?
I've done the 20. Let's see. My first year we came in 5th, and so we did not. that year was a different school. Then in 2019, we won the honor band. That was my first time. That was a school's fourth time. And so there were three. That was their fifth time. There were three with Scott Rain, the first director that won honor bands there. Josh King won an honor band in 2013. Then my first one was in 2019. And then COVID happened, and there was a band here in East Texas that would have won honor band in 2020 in mid 2021. Then we all know how that worked out. They went to invited ensembles for a little bit. I'm actually the one of the few that has succeeded itself as honor band. You know how you're supposed to sit out a turn? Well, technically, we kind of sat out a turn for COVID, but we again were selected in 2023. And so from 2019 to 2023, there wasn't a 2A between us because of COVID. And so far, and this coming year, this year is a recording year for honor band. And so this year would be a recording year because Brian Sowers at Tennahaw was honor band performed last year along with Midwest and had the year that he had.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Madman.
Yes. And there was we're really good friends. And there were lots of conversations, phone conversations, lots of things. When he was going to Midwest, but especially once the honor band hit, he's like, hey, what'd you do with this and that? And so it was a lot of fun to see a good friend and a program from our area go last time. And, we will record this year and see what happens at TBA this next summer.
Okay, so here's a tough question for you. Since, we've talked to a few people who've won state championships as well as honor bands.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them this question. I go, if there is one activity that you could keep a championship in, either state marching or honor band, which one would it be?
Honor band, hands down. Because you're indoors and you're not outside.
You're like, there's no moving. You don't have to worry about the heat. You don't have to worry about the weather.
Yes, it's always 70 degrees. I know the weather a little too well. We still march on grass, so I can tell you when it's going to rain, how much the field's been watered, and it's a whole thing. But I will say this last honor band was my favorite one because the kids were able to see 4 or 5. It was either 4 or 5 composers on the way to honor band, and so we saw Fred Allen did a piece for us. He came to our band hall and did an arrangement of a hymn. I Need Thee Every Hour. Was that? Yeah, I think pretty sure that was it. Yes, that was that one. And then Carol Britton Chambers, we did Kalos Edos. And we did a commission with Jack Wilds. And so we had him write a piece for us. And he's at Texas State on the faculty there and the composition department. And we stopped at Texas State and did a rehearsal with him. We went to UC San Antonio and Carol Britton Chambers. That's where she met us at UTSA before the concert. And it was really neat we have a lot, like most bands, we have quite a few female students in our ensemble. And it was cool for them to be able to see Carol Britton Chambers and go, look, there's a female composer, the song we're playing, and she's here working our group. And also Adrian Sims, who is finishing up his graduate work at UT Austin. He flew in from, at that time, he was finishing his work at, I think, his University of Maryland. And we did Evergreen Escapades is now a class 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and came to rehearsal. And so for them to see, we have a large Hispanic population. I got to see Adrian Sims. We have a lot of female students. I got to see Carol Britton Chambers. You get to see Jack Wilds, and he wrote this piece. It was brand new. You get to meet the composer that wrote this piece for you. And then Fred Allen, who's my mentor, arranged that hymn. So probably, like you said, if you could take one, it would definitely be honor band because 2023 was special.
That's awesome. That's such a hard thing. Well, like with the other people that we've asked that question, it's like they're at big schools and their answer is generally marching band because it involves everyone in the program. And it's the same thing kind of for me. If I ever had the opportunity to win state marching contest or win honor band, which one I choose? It would be marching band. because it is one of the few activities that's going to involve every single student in our program, just because we are split into two ensembles. And because for me, it takes me out of the element.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for you, it's a little bit different because I'm pretty sure you don't. Do you have split band or is it one
We
band?
don't. We have everybody in the same ensemble, so you had everyone there, and
Yeah.
so you had all students playing on stage there.
And you had eighth graders on stage.
We did, and so there are students that played the 2023 concert that are now juniors that could play the concert again as seniors the next school year. If we were to win. So, there's the possibility of using eighth graders to where they could do honor band twice. And I will say there's a reason why they don't let you repeat, because it's not healthy and good for you. You need that break.
Yeah, let's ask Brian Sowers about his Midwest honor band
Yes.
trip.
I talked to him earlier this week, it was last week when he started summer marching band. He's like, it was the greatest. I worked on forward and backward marching for 4 hours, and that's all I worried about. So he was very relieved to just be focused on marching band only.
I can imagine. Like, there are not too many people who've lived that life.
Yes, I would not. Yeah, that will not be this guy. I can tell you, I'm not doing Midwest in that 1 year and do state marching. It's a bit much.
So, Chris, is there a mistake that you've made that's made you a better educator?
Probably the one earlier where I said not being true to myself and trying to teach like someone else. So that those early years in Nacogdoches were not healthy. That's when I met my wife and discovered I had high blood pressure and had high cholesterol. And when you marry a nurse and you improve your health, but yeah, but also probably, like I said, just the biggest mistake was not being myself and trying to fit to my personality. And also the biggest mistake was not being prepared. Coming out of college and not preparing myself, not student teaching, not taking advantage of the resources in college did not set me up very well for those first 2 or 3 years. I probably owe money back to Nacogdoches ISD for those first 2 years.
So is there something that you wish you knew more of before you got into the profession?
Yeah, it'd be how to teach beginners and probably just the general ear training of listening to an ensemble and hearing. It takes you so much time as a young director to hear and process what you're doing. So for me, like being tuba players, you're going to hear the lower end of the band. That high trumpet and flute and clarinet stuff just doesn't naturally come to our ears because we didn't play those parts and we didn't hear that higher register. And now I find myself overcompensating sometimes where I need to listen to tubas more because I'm listening to that upper part of the band. But what would have better prepared me was been one, teaching beginners and really teaching an instrument you don't play. And that really would have set me up a lot better. And also really teaching your own instrument because you've forgotten what it's like to play that instrument at a beginner level. And then, like I said, just being able to hear a band. And also the third thing would have been classroom management. How do you manage people and manage personalities and manage young kids? And I can only imagine what that's like now, being a young teacher.
Well, I don't know about you, but have you ever had one of those students who just has like the Jedi mind trick on the rest of the class?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like it just,
the temperature of the room is set by that student.
yes. Well, you don't even have to say anything. The student doesn't have to say anything. They just have to give the look.
Yep.
And then automatically it's like up downhill from there.
Yeah. And so that's the student you really need to find a way to connect with and get them on your side. Because if you can get them rowing the boat the same way you're rowing the boat, you're going to be taking less buckets of water and having to turn the bilge pump on for the boat.
Yep. I've had that student.
Oof. Yes. And the older I tell you this though, the more experienced I've gotten, it's quicker and easier sometimes to get that student on your side. Or I would say now that I'm old enough to be their dad, be their parent, that you just look at them and say, "You're not going to do that." Yes, sir. Especially in a small school where I'm at, it works pretty well. because my reputation precedes myself, so they just know that you're not going to mess around in Mr. Clifton's classroom.
That's the way it should be.
Yes, right. It's a little small bit of fear. There should be a little bit of
Little respect.
respect. They call it respect. Yes. Yeah.
So, what's some other advice you would give a young band director?
I would tell a young band director this, that don't you need to be willing to listen and take advice and be able. If you are willing to listen and take advice, your career is going to take you a long way. You need to, and then on top of that, the most important thing is you need to find a good mentor or mentors, multiple. Find someone whose band that you enjoy listening to, you think their band's really good, and ask that person, talk to them, get to know them, because I will help anybody. If you ask for help or ask why I do something, or I've had lately some people, college students and different people come and just watch, and they say, "Hey, can I come hang out?" And say, "My band hall's open." You can always come watch and listen. I'll tell you why I do things and share stuff, because that's what made me become a better teacher. Was I found people that I mentioned earlier, George Little. I found other people where I went, man, I really like that, the way that group sounds. I want to be like that. So how am I going to find that? Go talk to those people, because they are more than willing to help you.
Well, and then the people who are not willing to help you are the ones that like, eh, ugh, you know,
Yeah, go find someone else,
yeah,
because if we're truly about teaching students, our own students, we should also be about teaching and helping young directors, because they're the future. You and I, we're midway through our career at this point, and someone else is going to have to take the baton and run with it eventually.
yeah. Well, like I've had this discussion with several people. It's like, Mike Howard said this. He goes, at one point in time, we were on one side of the room cutting it up with the rest of the
Yeah,
young
yeah,
guns, and
yeah.
then somehow or another, we ended up on the other side of the room.
You do, and your hair gets gray, and it starts getting less hair on your head. And I will say, though, it's much better on this side than it was on that other side of being on the cut up side of the room, where you're going, "What am I doing? And how do I do this again?" And so, but yes, it for those young directors, go find those people that will help you and find a mentor, because that's the only way you're going to make it in this profession. You will not make it in this profession by yourself.
Yeah. You know, I like being on the one side of the room. I like being on both sides of the room. I like to like dip back and
Fly
forth.
around.
Oh, I am notorious. I can tell you this. There are certain things I take very seriously in a
Yeah.
region meeting, and then there are some things and opportunities I take to like cause a ruckus in a region meeting.
I've been in more than one region meeting that you've caused a ruckus in. I'll
Positive, like
say
I said.
that.
Yeah.
sometimes there's a like I
You
like
need a chaperone.
Yeah.
I do.
Truly.
Yeah,
Like, you need a
I do.
chaperone.
Like there are sometimes like I'll spit out some like truth bullets and like just some like good information, and then there are sometimes like I am the stereotypical prototypical tuba player where
The
it's
one that's holding us up from going to lunch.
yeah
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the region meeting, it's you tell me when contest is, and we'll be ready. We'll be there, and
yeah.
just when are the dates? Let's do this and let's go. Now,
So
not to say I do enjoy having a good time. I enjoy going out and hanging out with friends and directors.
so so were you at the general meeting over at TBA?
Yes, I got there. I got there a tad bit late because I ran the 5K, and then I had to get breakfast. I was starving, and then I got there. Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I did not run the 5K, and we were there.
But you're talking about the ATSSB
Yes,
meeting, right?
the ATSB general meeting.
Well, the HSB general, the one where Brian was at. Or
Yes.
wait,
Yes.
yes, okay, yeah, I was there. Yep, yep.
Okay.
Yes, that was later in the day. Yes, I was there.
So we were at that meeting, and I don't know if you saw Brian kind of break on the like he was on the table and he like broke. He
Yeah,
shook his
yeah,
head and he like
yeah.
lowered his head and he giggled to himself.
You sent him a message.
Yeah, that was me.
Disruptive.
Like if you're anywhere near a panel, You better believe I am sending
Send a
you.
message.
I'm sending you a text message.
Oh yeah, I was in the middle of giving a clinic at TBA, and Shaka Hawkins sent me a text message, and I just ignored it.
Yeah,
That's what Hosea also sent Zach Sims a message when Zach
Yep.
was giving his clinic, and Zach
Yep.
replied. I was very like amazed.
You know, I was on a panel once, so I had time to look down while the other three were presenting. So, but yeah, no, I could, and with Brian, I could see that.
Yeah. Well, what it is that I have taken photos of, that circle game.
Which one?
This one, where you do.
Oh
this?
yes.
Okay.
I remember that in college. The TAs in college would hide around a corner and do that and try to. There are people who are now director of bands in places all over the country. And Jerry Duncan's little, all the Jerry Duncan crowd.
Yeah.
Trying to get you. Yes.
So I've taken photos of my hand doing that in multiple locations, and I always send it in a text message.
Text message.
Yeah, and so they have to look at it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
that game's been going around for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That one's one of the ones that hasn't gone away.
No.
Actually, one of our snare players tried to do it to me today.
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah. Our redhead.
Oh, I know.
He did it to me today.
Yeah.
I was like, ah.
Oh yeah. You gotta have some fun,
Yeah. But it's so if you're ever on a panel and I decide to sit in on it, you better be.
You have my number now. I know.
Oh gosh. Bad news.
I know. But that's the fun of it. Band's supposed to be fun, and
it is.
It's like we're serious.
Right.
And I'm saying this, and we're going to be doing something, and now I'm going to be getting a text message during a presentation.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up.
I know.
You are setting yourself up. There's all kind of memes and other things out there that can be included too. There's a whole rabbit trail you go down.
So one of our really good friends, we have a text chain with him that we send him this.
This is not even on a regular basis, not even monthly. It's maybe once every 2 years.
2 years. So the message just pops up.
Yeah. Well, it's a picture of a slice of Swiss. It's literally a giant wedge of cheese. It's a wedge of cheese, but it has hair on it.
It looks like it's wearing a weave, I guess.
Yeah,
and
it has a mullet, and it's the most disturbing thing ever.
It's disturbing. It's pre-AI generated.
The guy I worked with at Nacogdoches, my first job, had a mullet, and then the hair was long. It was flowing, and I had already left Nacogdoches, but I had gotten a message from people we'd all worked with. It said, "The mullet's gone."
No.
And it was our goal at TBA that year. He rarely came to conventions. So 1, he was at convention. 2, he had cut the hair down and shaved it. And so we made it a game to find him. Take the first person to find him. We scoured all the bars and all the local places along the Riverwalk until someone finally found him and took a picture with him and sent it to the group. Made a game of it.
That's the best.
Yep.
So do you have a favorite memory as a band director?
A favorite memory? I would say the 2023 Honor Band was a memory. Just being able to just enjoy the concert after all the work that was put in. That was probably one of the favorite ones. And then another one, probably can't be really specific, but just having your mentor come up to you and say how proud they are of you, and just personally for me, and having Fred Allen come up and give you a big old hug and saying how proud of you he is, or just people that you look up to, or you see their name, maybe you don't know them well, but they come up to you and say, "Man, I really enjoyed your band." This makes you, feel good.
Yeah. Well, it's just I don't know. It's just that you have arrived. This is the feeling that you've been chasing. For me, my head band director had never been to the state marching contest, and then we had made it, and I convinced him to come up. So that was the first time in his career that he had ever been to the state marching
contest. Yeah.
And it was and that's because he came to watch my group. And it was just
Yeah.
You know, that meant more to me than like, I don't know what, like, ugh.
Yeah. Just those moments where, especially the people who helped you and just you know, believed in you so much, and then to share that moment with them is special. You know, and I will say this: it will be interesting to see in the future. That answer will probably change. And like your children are not old enough to be in your ensemble, but one day, I imagine that could change in 10 or 15 years, 20 years from now.
Yeah. Well, like,
Mhm.
so this is like one of the first summers. This is the first summer that we've had like our children like not in daycare
Yeah,
for summer.
Oh yeah, it's the first summer
Yeah,
for sure.
because I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not had children yet, start watching out for daycare costs.
It's so expensive.
So absolutely like, hurt. But so the kids were up at the band hall like every single day this summer, or a big chunk of the summer, just because they would come up with us. And the relationships between my band, our band kids and our kids, was just like something that I will never forget.
but yeah,
Like,
if they
I mean,
adopt them, they take them
yeah.
in. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny because now the high school kids are like, "Where did the kids go?"
Can you bring the kids back?
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked the other day. They're like, "Can you like bring them back?" Because we had stuff to like talk about.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I'll tell you this: it's kind of, and this didn't happen with my child, but one of the assistants that works with me, one of the people I work with, had her daughter up there, and another kid was in the room watching her interact with her daughter. And this kid was an older kid, and it was actually kind of heartbreaking because he looked at her and said, "I never have had my parent tell me I love you, and held me that way," and cried and got up and left the room.
Ugh.
And so to be able to see, not only do they see you from the side of teacher to student, but now they get to see you as parent. And for some of these kids that don't have a good home life, that modeling of stuff is important as they get older. To think about the impact you have of not only being a good educator in person, but then the other part, the more important part away from band, is being a good parent, good father, good mother, you know, and then them seeing that and letting them into your world.
Yeah.
You know,
A
you just
peek
don't, you're
behind
just
the
not a
curtain.
robot that teaches band.
Mhm.
Yeah. A peek behind the curtain. There's the
Yeah,
wizard. Ah.
yeah, yeah. And so, and like when Wyatt, my son, was going to Carlisle, and he was in the band hall before after school. I mean, the kids enjoyed it; they loved it. He's walking around playing P-Bone, and he's still, like I said, he goes up there on a Friday night. He'll get in the stands and play with them. They just try to play. But
That's like our son. A couple times he was like trying to tackle some of the older boys
yeah,
and play, and it's like Jonah, you
yeah,
You can't do
you have to calm down.
that.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
like there are like drawings that the kids did. Like the twins were helping the section leaders, or our
Uh-huh.
leadership kids, and just whatever kids
yeah.
make their section signs.
Oh yeah, that's and that your kids will, especially if they're old enough, will remember that forever.
Mhm. The
And also,
clarinets put their names on
do
the
the names on
sign.
it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because our show is called The Home We've Built. And so everything has like a house, and
They
there's lots of
drew
homes.
they drew an Eleanor and Jonah house at the
Yeah,
bottom. It was cute.
they are part of the family,
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
part of the section.
and on one of the doors there's drawings that the kids made, and they're taped up. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's just the way
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah,
that's something that is special, because there's not a lot of professions that where you get to have that type of connection and
oh, yeah,
interaction with
yeah.
others.
I mean, you're not going to have, and there's plenty of great teachers in general, the general academic side. You're not going to have your math teacher bring their daughter to math class, or you're not going to have. I mean, I see it somewhat at our school. Our coach has a son that's my son's age, and so he's been up there working out with the kids in the summer. So you see that in the coaching side in the band world, but in the other part, I mean, what principal is going to bring up their 5-year-old
Yeah.
or anything else?
Yeah.
You know,
And that really happens more in our honestly the band world, and even more so in the small school.
yes, yep. To where It's okay to do that. And there's not as many people with a job that says you can't do that, or the lawyer and agree that could be a problem, because again, more likely than not, your child is on the same piece of property or across town at the school that feeds into your school, and it's the whole thing.
Our marching practice lot is the parking lot for our kids' school where they go
Yeah,
to now
I mean,
kindergarten.
so they can look out the playground and yeah. I mean, our practice field butts up to a portables that's now used for daycare. This is the first year for marching band, so I hope they like marches and metronomes. But in the past, it was used for other stuff. So
when you're not banding, what do you do to unwind?
what do I do to unwind? To unwind, it's usually either spending time with family. So it's we have a pool in the backyard. I really enjoy getting in the pool, getting in the hot tub. In the summer, we're out there quite a bit in the summer doing stuff in the pool. I'm a season ticket holder to UT football games for Longhorns, and so I will do. This will be the second year I've been a season ticket holder, and so I will take both my sons to games this year, and this will be the first time that the youngest one gets to go. He's very excited, and so we'll make 5 of the 6 home games, and so a lot of time is spent doing that. Is spending time, watching sports. Like I said earlier, I like to watch football. I'm more a college fan than I am a fan of pro sports. But so I enjoy that. And also, I like to travel. I'm a big person that likes to go to the beach. And so, if I can go to the beach, like we went to Destin this past summer and spent time out there on the beach in June. And so, for me, it's water, getting out and being in the pool, being on the beach, going and seeing Longhorn games. I also like watching baseball, so I'll watch the Rangers on TV. I'll also watch Texas Longhorn. I like watching college baseball, so I'm a sports fan.
Chris, I'm gonna say this, but you give off Pinnacle like '90s dad vibes.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
Do you own any white New Balances?
I refuse to spend more than $60 for shoes, and so a part of that gig is going to at State Soul Ensemble. We
had an interaction. This is
Yeah.
great.
We
This is
did.
great.
I think I saw you and told you about there was a 50% off sale at Under Armour.
You gave me a great tip. This
On
is
top of
great.
that, yes, on top of that, there's a 10% off for educators.
Oh yeah, you told me about
And
that.
so I paid $35 for a pair of $70 shoes. And this people I work with, my staff and my kids, or the kids that I teach, just know that Mr. Clifton does not pay full price for his shoes. He also likes to go to J.C. Penney's, and he doesn't like to pay full price for those shirts either. St. John Bay's is my jam. I'll tell you this: at TBA, I forgot my hang-up bag. I brought my suit with me. I needed my suit. I've had to bring a suit with me this time, and I forgot my hang-up bag with my button-down shirts and khakis. And so it was Wednesday. It was still early enough. So I ran up. There wasn't a J.C. Penney in the mall by the River Center. So I went up to the one on what is that, 410 or the
Is it North Star?
North Star. Went to the North Star Mall, found the J.C. Penney's, and it had been so long that I bought some clothes that I was able to. They said if you use your get a credit card, you can get 30% off. It was about 30% off. And they were also running on the door, it said 10% for educators. And by God, I was going to get that 10% because you, as a teacher, you're going to get that discount. So I bought 3 shirts and a pair of khaki pants for like $60. And that is my win right there. Not paying full price for a polo shirt, a pair of khakis, or shoes.
That's what I love about the outlets during like State Song Ensemble is that it's like
That's
Memorial
like your favorite
Day.
part of the State
Yeah, I forget anything else like the that Memorial Day sale.
The things that you've bought our entire family on
Yes.
that trip. I think you've come back with Crocs. You've come back with Skechers for the children. You've come back with a load of Under Armour stuff. Any type of apparel you can imagine from Under Armour. Levi's, the list goes on. Bath and Body Works, all sorts of things.
Yeah, I don't play around with that.
You really don't.
Like that it's a problem.
I tell you, for my shoes, I tease one of the people who works with me. She owns a lot of shoes, and so I have my black shoes for my black dress clothes. I have my brown pair of shoes. I have one other pair of shoes. I have a pair of tennis shoes, and I have my yard shoes. That's it. I mean, that's back to that '90s dad thing. I mean, your shoes can be multi-use. You know, that pair of tennis shoes can go a long ways for different outfits.
So, are you a propane or a charcoal guy?
Right now I have a Blackstone, so I do propane. I like the griddle. That griddle can be used to do a lot of things. I tell you, it holds some good seasoning on a steak. You know, some people may disagree, but you can, and while you're cooking your steak, you can cook your veggies, or I'll tell you what really does a good job is bacon. I like my bacon crispy, and so that bacon off a Blackstone, and then once you turn it off and you leave a little bit of grease on there. You throw your eggs on. The eggs are cooked in less than 60 seconds. So, and then your house. This is the weird thing. I love bacon, but I don't want my house to smell like bacon. So you go outside and cook it on Blackstone. You're in business. And then again, smash burgers. Sometimes I'll do a bratwurst, butterfly it, put it on there. We'll do some bell peppers and different things and throw it on there. Put some cheese over it, steam it, put the steamer down. You know, that's a quick thing to do. You can do fried rice. I mean, it's a lot of uses. Now, I will say the one thing about the Blackstone in our area with humidity is I find myself having to reseason it every year, and strip it down. You have to strip it down. It'll just rust sometimes. And maybe that's me not seasoning it well enough, or yeah. And then the cleanup process on the griddle. Just scrape, spray, close the lid. I mean, dinner can be cooked and ready and cleaned in less than 20 minutes.
I like using the Blackstone.
It's a good outdoor tool.
I haven't done it in a little bit.
Especially when you got the pool right there. So most often I'll get out of the pool and just have a towel wrapped around and go cook. And if you can get back in the pool, you just go back in and it's hot, you know. Mm-hmm. So that is also nice to go.
Yep. So, Chris, what's something you wish you could bring back?
Oh, bring back. Something I could bring back. I think maybe sometimes we're a little too connected. Internet and phones. It was nice when I would say that specifically for our kids that we teach, for them to be less connected, we go back to the pre-smartphone. I mean, we can do internet, but the smartphone and the just the apps and the distractions and all that.
The consistent stimulation.
Yep.
Well, we're about to find out what that's going to be like here pretty soon.
Yes. I mean, there's going to be, when we start school next week, there's going to be people that are shaken by the end of the day that have going with withdrawals. I mean, I've read a book. There's a good book, and I'm bad with names and remembering titles. That's like you asked me what I played 2 years ago, and I had to look it up. Anxious Generation.
Oh, yeah.
And it speaks in there about the issues the teenagers are facing these days, ages 11 to 15, and the effects of social media. And how when we were in school, you could get away from the bully, get away from the people, and go home. They either had to write you a letter and send it in the mail, or call you on your phone, or live on your street. They say that that those notifications are like a hit. It's like a drug. And just think how many notifications those kids are getting, between the different apps, different things. And it really, that's why reading that book, Anxious Generation, really made me think about my own kids. And in that book, it suggests to not let your kids get on social media till 16, 17. Now, you want them to get on a little bit before they go off to college. You want them to have that experience. But it recommends, limiting some of the smartphone stuff. And a great point in that book says this. It says, we are real particular about our kids and don't cross the street without looking both ways. Don't talk to strangers. Don't do all the things we do in the physical world. But then we hand them a phone or a tablet, and it's like sending them to Mars, and it's in that book. It was a really interesting. It made me think as a parent with whatever you can look on Google, or whatever videos you can look on YouTube, or whatever we've done away with YouTube for our boys, and we've noticed a significant change in their behavior. It just the addictiveness of the YouTube. We did the YouTube, even the YouTube Kids, all those videos of just all these challenges and all that garbage. Just there's some good stuff on YouTube. I'm not gonna say all things bad, but for those young children and just getting them addicted and hooked, like you said, next week's gonna be fun or interesting. Do y'all remember when the TikTok was banned for that 12 hours?
Oh yeah, people went into like a meltdown.
So get this, we were leaving. That was the same day as All Region Concert Clinic, and we're in the car and we're driving, go eat Raisin Canes. Our kids, God bless them, we can take them anywhere, and they just want to go eat some chicken fingers. But
that's real.
It is a real thing. But we were driving in the van, and that's when the TikTok thing, it shut down. And they were just panicking. One of them looked out the window and said, "Oh, look, the moon's out tonight. It's a full moon." I'm like, "Hey, see what happens when you don't look at your phone the whole time?" So, and that was fun to tease them and say, "I don't think TikTok's coming back." And they were, part of their life had ended.
Full out weeping.
Gone forever.
Yeah.
By the next day, it was back.
Yeah.
So
didn't last very long.
No, they'd already switched over to Instagram, whatever. I don't know, something. I don't do TikTok, so I can tell you that.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't either.
Yeah. Facebook's for the old people.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
That's right.
So if it wasn't banned, what would it have been?
Huh. Well, had it not been banned, my dad was a banker. I could have gone into banking and done it. I could have done that. I liked history. I like history as a student. History was probably my second favorite subject in school. After lunch, maybe it was probably like band, lunch, and then history. But I had some really good
band, lunch, and history.
Yeah, tuba players. You enjoy what you eat, what time you eat, and what you're eating. But I would say history. I had some really good teachers, and some of them were coaches. And I'll tell you, I had a coach in 7th grade that was probably one of the better teachers I had. And I went to Kilgore College. I had a professor there that made history. He brought history to the point to where he told you what was in the history book, but had what the other side won, what that history would have been rewritten as. It made you kind of think. So it was, I could have done history. Or that would have been a thing. But probably would have gravitated towards business, just with my dad's background in banking and just.
So, do you have a guilty pleasure TV show?
Guilty pleasure TV show. I'll tell you, my wife and I watched Love on the Spectrum, and that show was good. It was interesting. That's probably the closest you're going to get me to reality TV. Is that one was done well enough to where you could, and you kind of enjoyed watching some of the some of the people on this show, and just the uniqueness about them, and you were kind of rooting for them. You were rooting for them to find someone that they could love. Some of them had different areas of autism. Some were highly autistic, some were not as much, and so you were just rooting for them to find someone that would love them. So I think there's 2 seasons, I think 2 or 3. We've watched, I think, both seasons. I think there's 2.
I've always seen people talk about Love on the Spectrum, and I've never watched it.
Netflix, I would recommend it.
I feel like I would like it.
You would, especially, in the band world, we see some of those students that are on the spectrum, and you've had some of those. So it's my wife's favorite one. I think his name is Tanner, and he lives out near Clemson, South Carolina. And so, but that would be probably my guilty pleasure, would be that. Other times, it's going to be more, my wife does a lot of, she has a long arm and does a lot of quilting stuff. So that leaves me time when the kids go to bed to watch sports or watch whatever. So, all the seasons of Narcos, all that stuff on Netflix. I tell you, Apple TV's got some good stuff. Between Ted Lasso, all those different things. And so
Have
there's
you
been
watched Severance?
I have.
We
Would
have
have you? Let me ask you for this: have you watched all of season 2 yet?
we have not watched more than one episode because
Okay.
I would like to watch it. I feel like I have to sit down and probably watch most of it all at one time.
Yes, I would recommend
Binging.
That seems like a
binging.
show you
I
have
would
to
recommend binging, and I would recommend. It's one of those ones that you watch the first episode, and I actually watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I went away from it for a while,
Mm.
but then I came back and watched it. And the season 2 was good too. I'm not going to spoil anything. You need to watch all the way through, and I want to ask you about something in the second season later.
We'll have to
Yeah.
talk after we finish it because
Yes.
I feel like if we're gonna watch it, we have to watch it all like
Yep.
commit.
I would watch it. It will. I enjoyed season 2 more than 1, but I would recommend it.
I am horrible about watching or finishing TV shows.
You're really bad about it.
Like I don't like to
Very bad.
binge things,
You do not follow through with that.
and it just like I get busy or like I just like meh.
But you just like don't have interest in continuing it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to know what happens next.
Yeah, like we gotta finish like House of Dragons.
House of Dragons. You never finished Succession. We've talked about that before.
Okay.
There's many other shows. You never finished Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You ever
because
finished Breaking Bad?
No, I got to
No.
the Fly episode and I was just like
But
done.
it's so good after that.
Like the Fly episode is what
Keep
did
watching.
it for me.
Keep watching.
I don't even think
It's
you
just
got to
like-
like Jesse Plemons.
Have you watched?
No, I didn't.
Have you watched Goliath with Billy Bob
No.
Thornton?
We haven't watched any of that.
Oh, well,
Isn't
that's
he
one.
also in Landman?
Landman? Yes, and they're filming season 2 right now. Yeah,
We
Landman. My brother, who's in the oil and gas realm of things for business, watched it and said, "I can't tell you exactly what it says because it's just kind of a family-friendly podcast." But he just pretty much mounted to, "That's not what happens." In a not as
In a nice way.
What is that guy's name? Taylor what?
Taylor Sheridan Yeah.
Taylor Sheridan.
did Yellowstone. Yeah,
We haven't watched any of the Taylor Sheridan shows.
his Yellowstone was good. Oh, we watched that one, and then I didn't really get. There's 1883. There's several different ones that go along there too.
Yeah, that man's made his money.
He really has.
I tell you though, I just like a good old comedy. That we were talking earlier before we started about Happy Gilmore 2. I want to watch that one. Big Daddy, all those Adam Sandler movies in the late 90s or 2000s. Anchorman. Some of them being like Tropic Thunder, where you're like, you couldn't put that in the theater today.
No, you
But
couldn't. Well, like
but that did,
Mr. Deeds.
yep. The Water Boy.
You know what I
Big
really
Daddy.
I didn't think Anger Management got the love that it needed.
I don't think I've ever seen all of that movie.
And then even in some of his more recent stuff, like 50 First Dates and
Blended.
Jose loves Blended.
I do.
And so I just like those comedies. So I again, being a tuba player, you got to appreciate that stuff.
Yeah.
And hey, a fun fact, sometimes I include this on a trivia question when we quiz the students about our band staff, is I've actually appeared in a movie.
Really?
I have.
Was it Bernie?
No. Although the opening part of that, when the old man's describing the parts of Texas, is
I love it. We talk about it several times.
And when me and my wife went and saw Bernie, we were in a theater in Longview, and I think most of the theater was from Carthage.
That's
and
funny.
speaking of Carthage, Kim Shuttlesworth, you know her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's a guest of the pod.
Yes. And so Kim Shuttlesworth in college told me, I don't know that you're going to be a band director. You're more of a coach, Clifton. But she's from Carthage, Texas, and we were both at UT together, and she was drum major. But but back to the movie thing. I was in college at UT, and Man of the House has Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And so, being a college student, we had a marching band scene in the stadium. We had one in the stands, one on the field, and then they filmed a scene at the tower where they do a little pep rally thing, and he talks and blows out the candle and all that. Well, gosh, we were out there from midnight to, I don't know, 11 to 3 or 4 a.m. And between that tower scene and the stadium scene, I made like $500 or $600,
Wow.
which in college helps
A lot
pay
of money.
rent for the month.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big deal.
And so, but yeah, you can see me twice in the movie as an extra. And
That's
so
fun.
my my oldest son told some of his friends at school his dad was in the movie. Yeah, the whole thing.
That's funny. I love Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, he act well. Yeah, he's not as nice of a person in person. He's actually
I
kind of a
believe
jerk.
that. I
Like
would believe
he would
that.
not talk to anybody, would sign anything autographs. He would end this scene and go right back to where he was. So,
Business.
but they actually with that movie they had to at the end bring in Cedric the Entertainer because the movie was so bad. Those scenes before and after with Cedric the Entertainer were added after they filmed most of the film.
Oof.
That's rough.
Oof. I remember
But
when that movie came out.
I've never even seen that movie.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you're not missing much. But yeah, I cashed that $550 check. It's all
Real
good.
fast.
Real fast. Real fast.
That's funny.
So, what is your favorite place to eat in East Texas?
Ooh, well, you got several options here. If you're gonna go barbecue, you're gonna go to Stanley's here in Tyler because they've been in the top 50. Now, if you go to Stanley's, you're gonna tend more to gravitate towards the brisket, sausage, and sandwiches. If you want some good ribs, and if you're judging Region 21, they're gonna take you out to the Country Tavern. And the Country Tavern's between Tyler and Kilgore, and it's been there a long time. And it's just they serve ribs, and so they're pork ribs, and they're really so that'll hit you a barbecue. If I'm gonna go sit down and have a good steak, I'm gonna go to Prime 102 downtown or Dakota's. They're both higher end steakhouses. That's more of a birthday or anniversary type place. So that would be there. And then if I'm gonna eat Mexican food here in Tyler, I'm gonna go to Ruby's. I'll tell you, I, this is funny. When my wife and I met the first time we went to eat Mexican food together, I was a picky eater. My culinary palate has really matured these last 5 to 10 years, 15 years, especially meeting her. When we first went out to eat, I was going to order a hamburger at a Mexican food restaurant because I didn't really eat much Mexican food. And she's like, if this is going to continue and be successful, you're not getting a hamburger.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Mexican restaurant hamburgers
They
can land.
They can, but it wasn't going to fly with her. So, but I will tell you this, working at Carlisle now for 11 years, I've come to appreciate the authentic Mexican food, the stuff that's brought to the band hall, or those dives and places you find that just, you go, that's a restaurant, but dang, it's good. I find myself with Tex-Mex going, no, let's do the real stuff. Like we had in the band camp last week on Thursday, they made tacos and they had the special tacos for the staff, the carne asada, and they had the green sauce. Oh, it's good stuff. And one or two of the people at TJC that come help, he's like, well, time to clear out the sinus sinus stuff there with the green sauce. You know, he doesn't eat that stuff much, but it's
Jose
good.
refuses.
It depends. It depends.
If it's spicy like that, like clear your sinuses
Yeah,
spicy,
you're right.
you're not eating.
Yeah.
Really?
He will
Yeah,
not.
I'm a bad Hispanic that way.
Oh. Huh.
He will not.
I just don't want to pay for my food. I just don't. I don't like I eat food for the enjoyment of food.
But you don't really like the way it tastes like at all.
Oh, but it's got to have a little kick to it. It's got to have some kick to it.
Like if there's like a good, like, what did I tell you earlier? Like she made like a pico, and it's nice. Like, but she didn't put any jalapenos in it, and I was like, actually, I think you could put some jalapenos in this, and
Well,
I
said I didn't put any jalapeno in it because I know you don't like that. You're like, I think you could add some into it.
Yeah, and it's because I was like, well, your base is so good that like I think you could do it and it'd be okay, because I feel that, and once again I've talked about this so much on the podcast that it's like that the heat should be an enhancement of the flavors that are presented, not the main part of it. Yeah.
But that's like why salsa verde is so good. It's because it's like fruity, it's spicy, a lot of it. I don't know, it's so good. Okay.
I like a good kick. I've I didn't eat Indian food till the last 5 years. So there's some good spice and flavors there,
But
and
I think
sushi and other stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I think part of it's because like I have like a very strong sense of smell. Like and yeah, and well here's part of the thing. Like I cannot go to Bath and Body Works and put my nose in like the like cinnamon sugar or anything that's like gourmand. I can't do it because if I'm around it too
Like
long,
pumpkin cheesecake.
yeah, I
Yeah.
will give myself a headache.
Headache.
Strawberry
Yeah.
shortcake.
And I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. And I think that's part of the reason why I have a hard time with like spicy foods is because they're directly related. And so
Guess
therefore I just have a little bit more intensity when it comes to like heat. I don't know. That's
You know, it's
just
funny. That redheaded snare drummer, he used my Bath and Body Works strawberry shortcake lotion the other day because his sunburn was peeling, and he was like, "Do you have any lotion?" And I was like, "Yes, I sure do."
It's
And
strawberry.
he put it on, and then he was like, "That smells good."
It probably helped being a teenager. Probably helped smell better in general.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, actually
much
this
better.
one's this person's very cautious.
He's
so
well kempt.
yes,
Yeah.
he's a good kid.
Yeah.
All right, so I have some quick fire questions that are never quite quick fire. Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite rom-com?
Oh
Yeah.
man,
I love this question.
favorite rom com. The Notebook wasn't too bad. Rachel, was it McAdams? She's pretty hot in that one.
Is that really a rom-com or is it just a rom?
That's more rom.
Yeah,
It's
rom-com.
definitely more rom.
Rom com. I mean, 51st Dates was good.
Yeah,
That's
that's great. Great
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Is a taco a sandwich?
No, because you have tortas.
Ooh.
That's a good answer.
Toilet paper over or under?
Over.
Which Twix do you prefer, the left or the right? Is a black belt and brown shoes acceptable?
No, but funny thing, I got to TBA and forgetting that bag, I had to wear a brown belt with black shoes, but my suit covered most of it, so I don't think anybody noticed.
Good for you. Favorite stand tune?
Ooh, favorite stand tune. What is my favorite stand tune?
It's a hard
That is
question.
That's a hard question because some of them you hear so much you don't like them anymore. I would say, I mean, back if I was a student in Texas, I mean, we played not a whole lot. It was a March Grandioso, but it's a March. But I would say current, what we play now, we play a little thing called CI the kids really like. It's kind of like a little thing. It's,
What's the worst stand tune?
Call Out. It should be canceled. Call Out should be banned from all high school stadiums because it's overplayed.
Which one is that one? Is that Bananas?
That's that dum dum dum.
It's Bananas.
Other people don't call it bananas.
Yeah,
We just call it
our
bananas.
kids call it bananas.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Yes. I don't even pass the music out to it. It sounds so awful. The kids just kind of learn it and pass it down because
We have the anti version of that. Like
if
we
you
have
call
our
call
own.
down instead of call out, call down, or it should be
Kinda, yeah.
That song's so overplayed. It's ridiculous.
I really like USC, and you are all you the other day, or maybe it wasn't the other day, but it was recently. You're like, I think I'm getting kind of tired of that one.
No, it wasn't me.
Yes, it was.
No.
USC, is that from the USC
not.
band or just like a different one?
I think it's for I don't know. It goes bump.
It's all right now is
All
what
Right
it
Now,
is.
yeah.
It's
All
that
Right Now.
song, but it's
Yep.
I don't know why it's called USC.
don't
But I like that one for the student involvement.
Yeah, because
Like what
they
they do,
they
it's fun.
they say uno,
They count.
dos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They count
I don't think they
Spanish,
know the upper number.
I don't. 14.
I don't think they
That's-
know.
After uno dos, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, we only count to 4 in band most time anyway, so it's
But I think they count to 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were struggling yesterday.
Do you have a favorite store?
If I'm going for clothes, it's JCPenney.
I knew you were going to circle back to JCPenney.
Solid.
Gotta circle back to the old I mean, if that place ever goes under, I don't know what I would do.
I saw that they're like selling 21 stores in Texas, so
Well, the one in Tyler's still
watch
open.
out.
So as long as they're still open somewhere, I'll find them.
As long as there is a beacon of JCPenney's
That's
light.
right. I mean, you think about it. I mean, I worked at Hollywood. I worked at a video store in college, and you don't
Did
see
you
that
say
anymore.
Hollywood Video?
Yeah, there was one in Austin.
Oh, I know Hollywood Video.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So what's your walk-up song?
Oh, my walk-up song, well, people know me that I like the Longhorn so much, it'd probably be Texas Fight or something like that. Something related to that.
Okay, if you had a spy code name, what would it be?
By code name. Ooh, it'd probably be Clifton, or something, again, Longhorn related. Something along that line.
Is there a movie you enjoy quoting the most?
You go back to Anchorman. I mean, it's got some good ones in there. There's just so many lines in that one. But it would be one of those older movies. But again, you gotta remember the quotes. That's my problem. It's remembering titles.
I really like quoting like obscure movie lines.
Yeah, you really do.
I really do.
I
was so proud of Corbin the other day. He said my national treasure quote when he was talking to you.
Snorkel.
I was so proud of that.
I said marching men in dodgeball. I said, if you can dodge a dodgeball, a wrench, you can dodge a dodgeball. The kid looked at me and went, "What?"
That's funny.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know.
So
That's
sad.
if you haven't seen dodgeball, you've missed out on life.
Yeah.
I haven't watched dodgeball in a while.
ESPN
I
8 to
should watch
Ocho.
it.
Jason Bateman, who plays a lot of serious characters nowadays,
He was
like
so
that,
great.
so great, like that stoned out guy that was on the ESPN 8 to Ocho. So
that's funny.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent. What would my hidden talent be? Huh. Not really, because I do band, watch sports. Not really. Not that I can think of.
All right, here's a good question for you. Sousa, King, or Fillmore?
Fillmore, because you've got, not only do you have Fillmore, but you have all those pseudonames he wrote under too.
This is true.
Because his family was a religious publisher, and circus marches in the circus scene was not acceptable to his family values at the time. So that's why he went under those pseudonyms for all that time.
Are you a morning or a night person?
Not really both. I mean, I get up in the morning. I don't drink coffee.
Ooh.
And so I can get up and be going in 10 or 15 minutes, showered, ready to go. And in the evening, I can stay up late. So
that ruined my next question. It was coffee or tea.
I actually have cut caffeine since June 1st.
Oh,
wow. I found myself at the end of school. I was drinking 3 to 4, mostly 3 Dr. Pepper Zeros a day, just tired. And so I said, man, and I was playing with my kids, and I was out of breath, and I'm like, man, I'm really out of shape. And so I've over the course of summer, started eating healthier. I started running. I had been lifting weights, but I had not done the cardio. And then back to those drum corps days, and that if you can get into that running mode, about 10 before pre-kids, I did a 5K several times and enjoyed it. So I just started that couch 5K program and started running this summer, and had just really worked on being healthier, and it's helped me. I've lost about 20 pounds.
Oh.
More energy. Marching band's a lot easier. Clothes are fitting better. I just feel better. And so no coffee or tea. And yeah. And I even before doing caffeine, I don't drink anything hot. I can be doing marching band and it'll be 30 degrees outside. I'm gonna still drink water or something cold.
I said something about that when I was filling out like the favorite things for the school year
the
form
school.
today.
Yep.
Yeah. It said, what is your favorite hot beverage? And I looked at Johanna. I said, "Can I put iced coffee here?"
Iced coffee. Yeah, yeah. I will say though, my guilty pleasure food wise would be ice cream. And the kids know it. We go on a band trip. They're going, "We're having ice cream," and one of them look and go, "Of course we're having ice cream."
So sweet or savory?
I'm not really big on sweet, so I like more of the savory, the chocolate, or the candy. I like candy, M&Ms. So if you were to tell me what I want for dessert, it's gonna be vanilla ice cream, but it's gonna be loaded with M&Ms. If you go to that yogurt store or the froyo place,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna cover that thing with M&Ms and chocolate, where you're not gonna see anything, and it's gonna cost at least $8 to $10. It's gonna be full of candy like a kid, and I'm gonna eat every bite of it. I tell you this: we have a Dairy Queen that's really close to our house. It's just right around the corner, and they sell those buy one get one discount cards. The band discount card you get, and it has a buy one get one free Blizzard. That's my guilty pleasure. The kids go to sleep, and the wife's like, you know what sounds good? Blizzard. And so, yeah. And so, I still enjoy my ice cream. I have not given that up because you got to enjoy life.
If you had any superpower, what would it be?
If I had any superpower, it probably would be the ability to transport. Because, I mean, you could leave here and be in Nassau in the Bahamas or be on a beach somewhere just like that. Or just leave here and go to work and go, I'm there. Or
So
go down
much
to
more
Austin.
efficient.
Yep.
The question is if when you transport, do your clothes go with you or not?
Oh, for everyone else's sake, they definitely would go with me. That would just be the best for everyone.
I wouldn't want that anymore.
Yeah, like, but that's a legitimate question. Like, if
I mean,
you have a superpower and you
yeah.
can transport, do your clothes transport with you?
What show was it that there was that issue? I think it was The Boys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that one character that dates the taller guy, the dorky guy dates
Dewey.
the Dewey. Yeah.
Dewey.
I haven't finished the latest season. I had to watch the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, and that's
We
a
didn't
show.
finish either.
That was a show we had to take a break
Circling
from.
back around to how
Yeah.
Jose doesn't follow through.
Little
That was
dark and
funny.
little that
The whale scene.
That was
yeah.
There
yeah.
are some parts in that show that are like, what just happened?
What just happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of go,
Proceed with caution, gentlemen.
yes, yeah. Or you
Ladies
just
and
like,
gentlemen. Yeah.
you could have left those parts out. The show's
Yeah.
still good.
Yeah, most definitely. If you could have any fictional character as a best friend, who would it be?
Fictional character as a best friend. Fictional character as a best friend, and that could be from a movie. I mean, for anything. It's fictional. Because I don't read much. I had to think of something on TV or a movie. You know, Adam Sandler would be some of his characters. Adam Sandler's characters would be fun to hang out with from different movies.
I feel like Mr. Deeds would be a fun one to hang out with.
Yeah, that would be fun. Or, yeah, there's several through there.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes,
I'm taking a poll on this one.
On the Die Hard?
Yes, we're gonna ask all the guests.
It's a Christmas movie.
Thank you.
Leading up to December.
Yep. That's the way it is.
Yep.
What's one word you'd want people to associate with you?
It'd be a mixture between loyal and maybe honest.
Honest to a fault.
Fault.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, but also probably caring, maybe, or it's kind of hard. But loyal would be a good one. Very loyal.
What's a bad habit that you wish you could break?
I'd have that I wish I could break. The ability sometimes just to not remember everything, and just specifically, I'm not good mechanically or fixing things. So if it has to do something around the house, I need to remember to do that, and not, need to keep a list.
Yeah, that honey-do list.
That list, it's important.
Well, we have one more question, and you already kind of hit on it. Our question is there a Dairy Queen where you live?
There is. And actually, it got struck by lightning 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
No.
And so it was closed for a while. So there's, here in Tyler, there's probably at least 6 Dairy Queens to 7, 8. Tyler's a good size.
Yeah. Well, we asked that question. Well, is there a Dairy Queen in Price?
No, there's not. The closest one is in Henderson, or there's one in Overton. But no, there's not one in Price, Carlisle. There's not a restaurant in Price, Carlisle. Now, taco stand's open Wednesday through Saturday on the corner, and it's pretty good.
There's a taco stand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's legit.
Yeah. So we always ask this question because we feel like it's a hallmark of small Texas towns, also known as a Texas stop sign. Is the DQ sign. So what's your order at DQ?
If I'm getting food, it's probably gonna be the steak finger basket.
Oh yeah, solid.
Probably steak finger basket. And then lately the Blizzard's been I'll get M&M with cookie dough added with the chocolate syrup. Now, I'll tell you what, for a little while there, they had the Reese's Pieces. And Reese's Pieces and M&M are a nice little mix there.
Jose is anti-Reese's Pieces.
I am anti-Reese's Pieces.
Are you?
He is indeed.
I can't. It's just something weird about it.
But it's peanut butter. It looks like an M&M, but then you get that peanut butter. Oh, it's good.
But okay, there's the peanut butter M&Ms that is.
He doesn't like the Reese's Pieces because there's no chocolate, and so it weirds him out that it's just peanut butter.
It's
and
like drinking water from a can.
Like Reese's, do not equate Reese's Pieces to water from a can.
Completely different.
What plane of existence do you live in?
It's the way it makes me feel. I'm sorry.
We're about to fight.
Okay.
Reese's Pieces are legit. I mean, you got to respect.
I can't.
Did you enjoy E.T. as a child?
No.
Me either.
No.
The music's great.
Yeah, it is great, but watched it once.
I don't need to.
They don't talk for the last 25 minutes.
I don't need to watch it again. Yeah. I will eat Reese's Pieces with you.
Just like well, have you seen that the Reese's and Oreos are doing a collab?
Look.
Are doing a what?
A collaboration.
That's
we need to find
that has me interested. Actually.
So they're doing Reese's Oreos and Oreo Reese's. So they have Oreos that have chocolate peanut butter filling, and then they have Reese's that have Oreo pieces in the peanut butter.
And put it in an ice cream, it's even better.
See, it was a hot. I brought it up during marching band, like our fundamental block, because I was checking.
First kid that brings those to us gets to go home. You get to go home.
Don't put that on the airway, Jesus.
You'll have a whole office full of them.
I know, right?
Well, because I was opening up my schedule. And so I got a notification about it, and I was like, "Excuse me."
Where'd you get a notification from?
Oh, Instagram.
Was it from me?
No.
Oh,
I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But it was just like I talked about it. Like today, we almost got in a fight during fundamental block.
Me and you?
No. Oh. With one of our drum majors, because he said he preferred Applebee's.
That was not during fundamental block. We were learning drill. He was talking about that.
Okay. During drill. But he said that he enjoyed Applebee's more than Chili's.
They were about to.
No.
They're about to throw hands.
I was like, "What?"
We voted on the field.
Sometimes you wonder, is Applebee's still open?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Corbin's argument was. He's like, "When have you seen an open Applebee's?"
Yeah.
They were like triple dipper.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with the queso at Chili's or the chicken crispers. And now there's different options of chicken crispers now, and they have honey mustard to dip it in now, and it's I think the last time I ate at Applebee's was with my grandmother in 2000. Actually, 2009, 2008. Yeah. Actually, I take that back. I took my son one time. He's like, my wife won't eat there, and so we were on a father-son trip, and he said, "Oh, Dad, there's an Applebee's," and I ate there, and I was like, "Oh God, shouldn't have done it." we were in Dallas. We should eat somewhere else.
The floor is.
We don't
sticky.
even have an Applebee's anymore because it closed.
We have one here in Tyler. It's right by Best Buy and everything else from the 90s.
Yeah.
I miss TGIF Fridays.
Our Chili's used to be in a different location, and then they
moved.
Ours did too. They moved ours within the last year or two. Built a new building.
Ours has been probably 5 years now, maybe, but that was the whole thing. They built a new Chili's.
Yeah. Chili's is this whole thing. Applebee's their run was over after the jingle was over.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce, all that jazz.
So, well, I think that's all I have.
I don't have anything else.
Chris, do you have anything else for us?
I think that's all I know. I know about 5 things, and I've told you all 5.
And they're 5 good things, so I'm glad that you're here.
I've stolen them all. I'm a good thief. To be a good teacher, you got to be a good thief.
Yep.
I'm a decent teacher. I'm an okay teacher, but you got to be a good thief. That's my advice also to a young director. Be a good thief in a good way. Make it your own.
That's smart. That's good advice. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for listening to Band Yap. We'll see you next time. Bye.
We out.